Am I always small when I start? Hi. Hello. Sorry I'm a little late. Hello, hello. Can you guys see me, hear me? Hello. Hello. Let me see. Let me make sure everything's good. Can you guys hear me okay and no background noise? Let me know before I get started. Hi, 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 hi. We're back. We're back with more Kenzie. We're reading Kenzie text again. I'm gonna start and see if you guys are down. 100. Okay, thank you, Cree. Don't mind me if I'm writing things down as we go because I'm trying to keep track of the most toxic text messages. But hello, welcome back. We are going to be going through Kenzie text messages again. We have already gone through these in the past. We're starting over. If that's something you're into, then great. You're at the perfect place. Thank you for being here. If you're kind of over it, then just don't worry. We're still talking other cases. But for now, I am going to be reviewing the text messages. They start from 2020. So we see, like I said last time, I don't know if some of you remember the first round we did. I kind of have forgotten some of the text messages, but I don't know if that's just me because I consume so much true crime that I feel like I don't remember the first like month that we did before. I know that sounds weird. Maybe like a mental health problem, but maybe short-term memory. I don't remember a lot of them. But so I wanted to go over them again. I want to make a long form video about them. So as I go through, I'm going to be writing down stuff. So don't mind me. But I thought it would be fun for those new viewers as well who haven't gone through the text messages from the beginning. There's a lot. It's a lot to consume. They're very toxic. So I guess there's your warning. If you're into that, then great. Let's get started. Let me say hello to everyone. Hello, hello. We do have a live planned for later tonight. We're going to be going over Brian Kohberger and the crime scene photos that were recently released. So we will be going over those tonight, and then we'll continue our Jodi Arias stuff tomorrow. So thank you for being here. I saw Evie, I saw Robert, I saw Amanda. Hello, hello. I know Amanda's been waiting. I saw Hannah, Crees. Hello, hello. Vanjie, thank you for being here. Praveen Carlena. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Just saw your comment. Anton, hello, hello. If you say so. I saw Shay. Hello, Shay. We love you. Thank you for being here. Lakeside, what up? Hello, Irony, Tasmom, and Amy. Good to see you guys. Might just be a smaller crowd just because we have gone through these, or maybe not because people need a refresh and they missed the first part. So let's see. So these start back from January of 2020. So we see it progress up until a little bit before the crash. We don't have the text messages the day of the crash. Those has been sealed. I'm working on it, but it's still, a thing. So hello, Miss B. And I saw Robert. Hello, hello. And Irony. Did I say Irony? Hello. Thank you for being here. So let me share. This is a bigger document. I remember one of them didn't work for me last time, so I can't remember now which one it is because I downloaded them twice. We went through 32,000 pages 6 years ago. Wow, time flies. Yeah. And so people asked last time when I did the reading, like, why are you starting from 2020? That's when the evidence packages or evidence files were created. That's when they started. So, and remember, these are through FOIA, these are through the evidence. So I'm sure they wanted to see that relationship building up until the crash. Any updates on Ashley Buchanan? I'm working on that. I should be doing a live soon. I don't know how many updates there are, but I should be doing a live about that case soon. I love that case, the Ashley Bocanegra case. So let me share my screen. Here we go. January 2020. These are from Celebrate. So the green is Mackenzie and the blue is Dom, and I will name them as I go on. Yes, please hit the like button. It does really help. And subscribe and turn on notifications, do all those things. So And let me know if you were here through the first reading. The first text message I recall from Dom to Kenzie asking her why she was smoking a bong on Insta. So yeah, I know. And it's different, right? For those of us who were here for the first reading, I feel like we have a different perspective because now we've gone through the Snapchats, we've gone through other videos, we've gone through some body cam. But Cree says, I haven't seen the first ones, like the very first batch. I came in the middle. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people kind of found me in that time, all the babelets. So I figured it would be interesting to go through it again. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be different for us this time around, isn't it? Like the Instagram messages, the Snapchat, the phone calls. I have been releasing phone calls. If you missed my short today, I did drop a 2-minute phone call with her, and I have seen your videos of this case. Thank you. I did drop a video of a Kenzie call with her mom, Natalie, this morning. And it's just a 2-minute call. It's just like a little short, but I will be doing another phone call video, maybe even tonight. So you might get a drop while you're sleeping, or maybe not. Maybe you're not sleeping. I'm thinking about dropping a video with 3 phone calls, new ones that we haven't heard. So keep your eye out for that. I passed the word on you reading all the text. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate that. Okay, so these start back on 2020. I have my drink. I hope you have snacks. These do go on for a very long time, so I don't know that I will get through all of January. Last time I did the reading of these, we had to split it up. Sometimes we did like January part 1, part 2, because sometimes some of them are for long periods of time. And my goal is not to make these like a 3-hour lives as much as I want to, but I don't want to do that. So I'll try to get through them as fast as I can. But if not, then we'll do a part 2 tomorrow or whatnot. So the first one starts on January 12th, 2020. Kenzie says, hey, am I unblocked? Dom says, that Insta account isn't private and you have vids of you smoking in my room. Wait, what day did I say? I'm sorry. I meant to say January 12th. Did I say that? So she says, Dom says, the Insta account isn't private and you have vids of you smoking in my room. Kenzie says, oh shit, I'll make it private. Dom says, and all you posted was boomerangs, LOL. You're that kind of girl now? Kenzie says, no. Why aren't you saying, oh, you look so good, Kenzie. Why are you being like that? Don't drag me down. Hype me up. That's really mean. For real. I always hype you up. So at the time of these, Kenzie's like 16 years old. Sorry, I was thinking. Kenzie's like 16 years old. Right off, I forget these. I'm so excited to go over these. I'm such a nerd. I forget how crazy these get. These have so much toxicity and violence in them. I'm blown away. Okay, so anyways, she says, that's really mean. For real, I always hype you up. She dislikes the message that says you're that kind of girl. Dom says, I wouldn't want to be hyped. I'd rather just know what I am. Kenzie says, you just made me really self-conscious. I want to just delete the account. Are you still thinking about chilling? I'd only be there for like 1 or 2 hours. Dom says, maybe. She says, it will be really fun. I also want to show you my outfit. I could come over whenever, just can't stay that late. Maybe we could go see a movie. On the way home right now. Dom says, probably not. Kenzie says, okay, if no movie, then let me come over at 7. And she says at 6:30 p.m., I'm home. Can we chill for like an hour and a half? Why did you block me on Snap? You said you wouldn't. Dom says, because I didn't want you to message that phone. Kenzie says, okay, can I please come chill for like an hour? I can only stay till like 8 or something. It would be so nice. It would take away a lot of stress for tomorrow and it would make me really happy. Dom says, I'm probably going to go chill with Kyle, so probably not. Kenzie says, please? Dom says, but I'm a chill with Kyle. Kenzie says, I miss you and I just want to chill for a little tonight. Can you just bring me maybe? Dom says, maybe when I get back from Kyle's. Kenzie says, what time? Can I get food for you and me if you want to? I need some dabs. Dom says, I'm eating corned beef. Kenzie said, how is that? And will you be back from Kyle's? Because I want to chill so bad. I'm like craving to see you. Dom says, I don't know. I'm tired, so I won't be there for long. Kenzie says, okay, bet. Text me after. I'll be over fast and we can just kick it. Dom says, okay. Kenzie says, yay! I'm excited AF. When are you going? I literally have bad anxiety. I'm so excited. Dom says, I don't know. Soon. She says, are you driving? Would you scoop me when you're on the way back? Will you be home around 8? Dom says, no, probably longer. Kenzie says, shit, there's no way I could just come with you? Dom says, no. Kenzie says, I really want to hang out tonight and I can't be out super late. Dom says, okay, at 7:05 p.m. Kenzie says, can you try to be back at your house early enough? It would make me so happy, babe. Dom says, I'll try. Kenzie said, that means a lot to me. Thank you. Please just try and don't let me down. I do want to note that the last time we read these, oh, sorry, I had that message up on the screen. The last time we read these, we saw that it changed. Like the dynamic between Dom and Kenzie changed. We see her get a lot worse, and we see Dom not be as toxic. So just keep in mind that that's kind of what we saw last time. She says, that means a lot to me. Thank you. Please just try and don't let me down. Are you leaving right now? What if you try to be back at 8:30 at least? She loves her own message. She said, babe, hey, answer really quick. Dom? Dom says, what? She says, can you try to be home at 8:30 so I at least have an hour? And would you pick me up when you're on the way back to your house? I'm just waiting for you to go home. Babe? Dom, answer. She removes an exclamation. Dom? Question mark. Answer, please. She says in caps, you're gonna do me like this? Question mark. Hey, babe, unblock me on Insta. I want to send you shit. This is the next day. Text me when you wake up, please. She points little arrows. He says, I'm up. She says, babe, can I come over in like 5? It's January 13th, 2020 at 7:34 a.m. He says, yeah. She says, okay, I'm going to just text you when I'm on the way. Would you be able to come scoop me real quick? I'm trying to get a ride over, but no daycare parents have came yet. I'm panicking. Dom says, I don't know if I got time. Kenzie says, just go really fast. It's only 7. You will be back by 7:55 if you come now. Dom says, I'm taking a shit. I got a shower and stuff, though. My mom could have already left. Kenzie says, shit. I think I got one. Hold up. I'm about to be on the way. I'm here, she says at 7:51 a.m. He says, nice. She says, a daycare mom gave me a ride, LOL. Where you at? He said, I said that Olivia girl was 120 pounds. She way fatter than that, says Dom. Kenzie says, LMAO, what are you talking about? Dom says, the missing girl. Kenzie says, that's what I thought you were talking about. You know who she is? Dom said, no, LOL. Kenzie says, oh, then how do you know she was fatter than that, LMAO? Dom says, I don't know. I was joking in the pic. She looked chubby. Kenzie said, they got pics of her everywhere, like on the poles outside. Dom says, oh, damn, I thought she just ran away. That's sad. Kenzie says, I have no clue what happened, but I seen her poster everywhere when I was on the way home. I hope she just ran away for real because it would be so scary if she got kidnapped. She says, I need a pen. Are you about to be done? She emphasizes her own message. Dom says, come. I'm done. She emphasized her message. She says, okay. At 10:25, she says, Dom, where's Novo's at? Answer, ASAP. Okay, I can't bring them then. She says, I'm going to KMS. And then she says, on my way. Dom says, sorry, they're in the champs. My bad. I don't know what that means. She says, I got them and I did it, babe. Also, I fell asleep and woke up at 10:24. I was like, shit. So I hit the bong and dipped the F out. I took a fat hit too. Dom says, yeah, I'm really tired. Kenzie says, I have no clue how I woke up. Like perfect timing. Like shit was crazy. I got to class at like 34. I was like zooming. Dom says, LOL. She says, I'm hungry AF. After school, let's go to Chick-fil-A. Fries. Dom says, I don't know. Kenzie says, what are you feeling then? I want fries. But she says, bruh, come back. It's awkward. He's tweaking. She says, okay, babe, soon. Babe, I'm going to probably sleep soon. Text me when you're up. She says, babe, I'm almost ready. Wake up soon. Okay, so it jumps from the 13th. So the last message on the 13th is, okay, babe, I'm probably going to sleep soon at 11:46 p.m. Then on the 14th at 6:20 a.m., she says, text me when you're up. This is when you see her start to get really obsessed. She says, babe, I'm almost ready. Wake up soon. Before you do anything, do you think you could get me? If not, I can probably wait for a parent, but I don't know if I can because my sister's being effing annoying. She says at 7:25, babe, try to come. I really need a ride. My mom is about to be home too. I need a ride. OMG, please just get me. Dom says, I'm taking a shit. Kenzie says, bruh. Dom says, what? She says, after, get me. And if I get a ride, I'll tell you. She says, I'm salty AF. When will you be done? Like, you probably need to get me. I'm so effing mad. I'm on the way. I got a ride. Dom says, yay. Yeah, I was gonna get you after I got dressed. Just try not to be in a bad mood. Kenzie says, get me. Wait, I'm so mad. I'm gonna kill someone. I'm mad as F right now. And I'm here. Dom says, why? Why are you so mad? Kenzie says, like, what the F is this? This whole morning shift shit AF. I'll just explain soon. She says, are you getting in the shower? What do you want for breakfast? I'll go make food. Dom says, Olive Garden would be dope. She says, I don't know if I know how to make Olive Garden, babe. Any other ideas? Dom says, that was 8:25 a.m. And then he says at 9:07 a.m., leave the room. She says, okay, question mark, what's going on? Is everything okay? Can I come back in soon too? There's an open outlet out here, Dom. Why are you acting like this? I didn't do anything. She emphasizes her message. Dom says, I'm mad. Chill. I wouldn't want to freak out on you. See, you're just making me more mad now. Kenzie says, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just telling you there's not an open outlet to charge my phone, so I can't charge it, and I'm tweaking out. Like, I need my phone charged. I use my phone all day. Dom says, yeah, there is. Kenzie says, where? Dom says, in the kitchen or by the TV. I'm about to dip though, so you can come charge in a second. Kenzie says, I'm in the living room. It's cold AF in the kitchen, so I'm sitting on the couch. This sucks. That was at 9:51 a.m. She says, you feeling better? This Play-Doh sucks at 11:27 a.m. He says, yeah, I'm kind of better. Kenzie says, that's good. Smiley. Did you end up getting to school? Dom says, yeah. She says, bet. I was hoping you when because you're gonna feel better. I'm plowing through work. It just sucks so bad. LOL. Dom says, nice. She says, I don't like the teacher in here right now at all. It's not the normal lady. Dom says, that's tough. I'm glad I didn't go to Plato. Kenzie says, she's the lady that was helping that slow kid all day that one day. There's no way I can do any more work on my phone at 27. I'm effed. Dom says, that's plenty of batter. Just do stuff that you can't use your phone for. Kenzie says, oh, true. Like, what the F? Academic success? Dom says, I don't know, flip through tutorials. Kenzie said, the questions on academic success are so gay, LMFAO. Dom says, it's probably easy. Kenzie said, it is. Like, what should this person do? So easy, but gay. Dom says, LOL. Kenzie says, I'm about to take a final tomorrow, probably. Dom said, see how quick that is? Kenzie says, right? I'm trying to leave. I'm tired. Dom says, I'm about to go to Foods, then I'm out. Kenzie says, I'm waiting with Celeste. Where you at? He says, N-word, what do you mean? So when you hear me redact the N-word, it's the N-word. When you hear me redact R-word, it's R-E-T-A-R-D-E-D. I just don't like specific words. Kenzie's mom ran a daycare house. Yeah. Wonder if those kids came contact her. Yeah, because she was smoking in the closet, right? I remember that from the Snapchats. She says, like, where are you? At 1:31, you said you're about to be out, and now it's 2:30, and you're still not here. I'm confused. Dom says, N-word, school gets out at 2:25. Kenzie said, LOL, just never mind. Get it. You don't get it. I was just confused because I feel like you would be here by now. And that was at 2:35 p.m. And then at 3:54, she says, let me come in. Sad face. Dom says, no, for now, you just got to go home after school. And probably can't come before school. Kenzie says, what? So let me let you guys know what's going on if you haven't already caught on. Kenzie is like trying to, and she hasn't got crazy here yet, but she's about to. She wants to be with him all the time. She's showing up. Yeah, from square one again. She's showing up in the mornings. She wants to be with him from the morning to the end of the day, like controlling him. Oh, is Meredith in here? Thank you, Meredith. I appreciate you. I don't want to ignore the people who support outside of YouTube, but thank you, Meredith, for the cash app. I really, really appreciate you. It's kind of you. I hate her, says Hannah. You guys, it gets really bad. If you missed the first half, this ain't nothing. We see, just keep in mind, we see her get worse and Dom gets better. Like she becomes so toxic. It's triggering for some. Dom says, and you probably can't come before school. She says, what? You can't do this to me. You can't. Dom says, if I asked you to go home, you would have threw a fit anyway. I already did. She says, you better not have. Oh, there's going to be a huge issue. Dom says, why? She says, you can't just fuck me over like this. If you left, I'm getting a ride by Carla. He says, N-word what? She says, right now. He says, okay, better get a ride there. She says, where are you? He says, because I probably won't even be there yet. Kenzie says, you're so mean for no reason. I don't deserve it. She says, okay, I'm just going to start walking. He says, okay, bet. She says, I'll catch up to you. He says, okay, try. She says, if you leave me, I'm going to flip out. He says, I'm way too far. I wouldn't even try. Kenzie said, who does this shit? Dom says, I would just get a ride. You're mean. You treat me like shit, she says. And I treat you like an effing god. And you do this? I'm uncleaning your room. This is where the manipulation starts. I'm uncleaning your room. Because remember, she's always like, oh, I'm the best girlfriend. I clean your room for you. Yo, this is 2 years before she murders him too. He really matured over the 30 pages. I know, Mary. You're right. He did mature. This is why we love Dom. We do. Regardless of what he does to make money, he ends up being, a good boyfriend to her. I would legit have broke it off the first sign she thought texting me at 7 a.m. She flips out. If she's not there at 7 a.m., it's hell's breaking loose. I sometimes found myself being so mad at these text messages. She says, I'm uncleaning your room. He said, no, you just smother me. Pay attention, guys. This started on January 14th, 2020. He was already feeling smothered by her. I can't even handle these sometimes. Don't mind me being dramatic over here. These really piss me off sometimes. Am I triggered a little bit? Yeah, I might be. Yeah, I might be. I'm not embarrassed to talk about it. We can talk about it. We're gonna have a little relationship talk, a little toxic relationship talk. People don't like to talk about these things. I like it. I enjoy it. I like to talk about my past. I like to talk about relationships, the times I've been toxic, the times I wasn't toxic like this, friendships. It's the way you learn, right? It's growth. But these are fucking insane. Like, these are nuts. These text messages are absolutely insane. Okay, anyways. Dom says at 3:59 p.m., no, you just smother me. I'm uncleaning your room. And when you're there, I'm getting a ride over, says Kenzie. He says, I'm breaking up with you. She says, no, no, no. He says, yeah. She says, no, 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 don't. He says, just let me go to 𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗆. She says, don't, don't, don't. Why do you do this to me? He says, and let me chill with you when I don't want, and let me not chill with you when I don't want to. He's basically like, give me some space. She says, you never told me to go. You're so mean. You are mean and show me no love anymore. He says, I knew if I would, you just get so mad. So I attempted to avoid it. Okay, if you really think that, then okay. Kenzie says, you know how much I love and care about you, and I get this? I was just trying to make you fucking happy and feel better. Dom says, I'm too bipolar. You gotta just not talk to me. Wait, I need to write this down. What page is this? Don't mind me as I write these down because I'm making a long form video. It's like we're back in school. She says, I was just trying to make you effing happy and feel better. He says, yeah, I'm bipolar. You just got to not talk to me. This is the first. Oh, shit. Sorry. Hold on. Don't mind me. This is when the first mental health problems, he mentions it the first time. That's why I needed to write that down. It felt like after Dom matured and stopped cheating, Kenzie just kept testing him. Dom wanted out. You guys, I'm already screaming. Are you screaming? Are you so mad? I feel like I get so mad over these. Like, I feel for Dom, you know? He says, I'm too bipolar. You just got to not talk to me. She says, but no, you make me feel like I'm nothing for no reason. Why do you think I hate myself so much? Dom says, you make me feel like I have to do everything with you or I'm doing something wrong. Why do you always think I'm mad? Kenzie says, I effing hate myself. I'm ugly and you just add on to it and make me feel even uglier. So I want to know, this is crazy. I'm noticing things that I don't think I noticed the very first time around. I effing hate myself and I'm ugly. Imagine how many Snapchats we've already looked at. If you've missed that, you need to go watch the playlist, get caught up, do it on your bedtime while you're getting ready, while you're working. I don't care. But just do it because it's worth it. She is so cocky and you see her in all of these selfies. And this message caught me off track because this is the first time we see her be insecure. And later, she's very different, you know, when she's doing all these selfies, posting half naked, cheating on him. This is back in 2020. This is actually how she really truly feels about herself. And I wouldn't have caught on to that because we didn't know the first time around. We didn't know shit, to be honest. We just started these text messages. I started them on a random night like tonight, and we went through them and it got so deep, it became a thing. We learned about Kenzie through text messages that we weren't able to see in the trial because she had a bench trial. But here she says, I effing hate myself. I'm ugly. And you just add on to it and make me feel even uglier. Like, how can you just leave me and walk away like that? It's effed up. Dom says, now you just sound dumb. We're still on January the 14th, by the way. She says, you make me feel like I'm worthless. I do so much shit for you. And you just don't care. And you shit on me. Dom says, see, here's the thing though, is you don't have to do anything for me. And I'd probably be happy. This is like a reoccurring thing too later. She was starved for attention. I have to be fair. I have to be fair because like now that I'm reviewing these, why does Kenzie feel like this? Why does she feel the need to be like this human? I'm not saying that I'm on her side or defending her, but I have to play devil's advocate. Like, think about it. She's like 16, 15 here. She's already hating herself. She's already being toxic. She's already being manipulating. Where did this come from? Where did she learn this behavior? We saw the police reports in the previous lives that I've done. She had issues from a very young age. You know? I'm wondering, like, really, does Kenzie suffer from other mental health issues that I don't think we've considered before? Or maybe we have, we just don't know. Allegedly, my opinion only. You know, like, and we later we see her, she hates men. And I just wonder, was there a point of abuse? Was there something? Where did this behavior come from? It's very interesting reading back these back because I forgot about some of this stuff. Um She says, now I'm at your effing house, breaking down on your floor. Like, you cause pain to me for no reason. And then you wonder why I'm stressed. I'm trying so hard to please you, but it's never enough. Dom says, it's because you never distance yourself at all. Now I'm here alone when I need you the most again, she says. You can't even be there for me. You just let me cry. How can you make someone cry till they can't feel anything and not care? I just wanna bang my head on the wall till I'm dead. It's like a mind fuck because the first time around, like, I didn't pay attention to how she was acting like this so much, but I paid attention more to Dom's mental health, like, towards the end, and Dom was the one who ends up banging his head and saying that he wants to unalive himself. So it's kind of ironic, if not trippy, if it's a word, um, to see her saying this. Is it not? Do we think her parents had to spend more time with her sister because she had a disability when they were young? Then her parents felt guilty about it? Vanjie says Kenzie was born bad. Okay, so that leads me into another thing. This conversation could go on for in plethoras of ways. So are humans born bad? I always ask this in the true crime lives. Are humans born bad or do they become bad because of their environment and their experiences? I wholeheartedly can say that humans become bad because of their experiences. I really do. But I'm curious. This could lead into a spiritual talk, a life about light, a talk about life, our experiences, what we experienced. But I wonder how Kenzie became the way she did. She's 16 here. She's 16. And I grew up very toxic, but I had a very traumatic childhood. So does it justify it? No. But people live a different path when that happens. And I'm not embarrassed to say that. And I welcome that conversation here. We've always talked about mental health being important on my channel, and I stand by that. And I stand up for who I am and my past as well. And so I question, like, where did she learn this? Why did she become so evil? Why did she want to kill her boyfriend? You know what I mean? Gypsy Rose was definitely born evil, said Peanuts, because we are also reviewing Gypsy Rose. I think they become bad, says Janie. And they become bad because of their environment, right? The things people live through, the things people go through, trauma, stress, life, or no? Because not everyone who deals with those things becomes a schmurder, right? I'm interested in that human psychological dynamic. I feel it was like a combo of nature and nurture. Yeah, was it nature or with Kenzie? She was probably born with a personality disorder, and bad parenting turned her into a monster. Interesting. She says, I want to bang my head on the wall till I'm dead. Dom says, to be honest, this shit has happened so many times, I just don't care anymore. So this is on, when did they start dating? So they were dating for 4 years when the crash happened in 2022. So this is 2020. So they had already been together. Am I tripping? So they had already been together 2 years. He says this has already happened so many times. So this isn't the first time. This isn't the first time. Hey, Amanda. Yeah, you better be here, babelet. I know you've been waiting for these. She's probably 15 years old because she wasn't 18. No, she wasn't. In my opinion, her parents trained her to be demanding and throw fits this way. Her behavior is so poor because she's spoiled, period, says Taz Mom. Okay, so you guys think it's more of a spoiled, she's an evil person rather than she was someone who got dealt with, who dealt with difficult parts of life, I guess. Richie says, I think some people are actually born bad. So do you mean like they come out of the womb born bad? Because, I'm not a doctor, but I am in med school. But what? Okay, so they're born bad. So is it they're born bad because of being in the womb and what the mother experienced? Because I do believe that affects the dynamics of a child in the womb. That's a whole different conversation as well. Or what do you mean by born bad? I guess I'm curious. Cree says, nah, I think she was just raised shitty. It's really interesting, the differing. I like it. He says, to be honest, this shit happened so many times, I just don't care anymore. Yeah, Amanda says, I called her out. If you missed it, it's fine, babelet. I appreciate you for caring and wanting to be here. She says, what shit? You're making me cry because you're mean? Yeah, that does happen too much. You should treat the girl who would die for you a little better because when I'm fucking gone, you're going to miss me. Dom says, I really would. She says, be nice to the people who love you because sometimes I can't take the hate you give. And now I'm here alone. He says, I wish I was alone. Why don't I remember this? Why? I'm screaming. I don't remember this. Okay, what page is this? 101. I wish I was alone. Oh, I'm screaming because he says this so much later. And then later, we were the ones who were upset. We're the ones who were like, why didn't she leave him? That makes no sense. Nobody's born bad. Every baby is pure and born without sin. Stop it. What if the mother has mental health issues that are genetic, I guess? I personally don't think that people are born bad. I don't. The only thing worse than a spoiled kid is a spoiled adult. If someone is born a psychopath, they have no empathy because it's just not there. But I don't think Kenzie's a psychopath. She's just spoiled. Dom says, I wish I was alone. I'm never alone. He says, that's why I want to get out of this house. This is before he got his house next door. So if you're confused, it hasn't happened yet. And you'll see it happen as we go through the text. But he said, that's why I want to get out of this house. I can just be by myself when I want to. Kenzie says, yes, you are. Yes, you are. You blocked me for a whole weekend and left me wondering if I was going to lose you. You didn't ask me today. What? He blocked her for a whole weekend. This might be one of the few times he blocks her for a whole weekend. I don't think he does that later down the road for that long. I don't know. We'll see. Dom says, no, you spam me the whole weekend. If I block you, you just spam me more. And then we don't get anywhere. Kenzie says, if you was just like, oh, Kenzie, babe, can I chill alone today? I'm in a bad mood. I don't want to make you sad. Dom says, that's why this is happening again. Kenzie says, I would just have went somewhere else after I got there. Dom says, okay, Kenz, I'm in a bad mood. Go home. She says, but you don't ask for space. You just make me feel like shit. Dom says, no, I did. I did this morning. She says, when? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Dom says, and then I was in a bad mood when I got back. And then you make it worse. Kenzie says, me? Dom says, yes. She says, wow, you're fucking mean. You tell me I push all my friends away and tell me I make you mad all day. And this is why I'm depressed. He says, it's 2:30. Why aren't you home? Maybe because I get out at 2:25. She says, this is why I just want to effing kill myself. She says she just wants to kill herself here. I have questions. She says, I woke up confused. Stop being a dick to me. He says, this conversation is ending. I'm close to Carl's. She says, wow, I'm so mad at you. This combo, I have to sneeze. My sneeze always goes away. She bases her happiness off others worshiping her. Hey, Joker. He used to be so much more strong with her. She breaks him down, 𝗀. She breaks him down. She's verbally and mentally abusive. She breaks Dom down to the point of where, thank you, Patty. We missed you. Good to see you. She says, this convo isn't over. He says, why? She says, why? Are you kidding me right now? You just left me here. You didn't say bye. Then you made me feel like nothing for no reason. Dom says, I'll see you later. She says, like, yay. Now I just get to stay alone. Dom says, no, you can go somewhere else. Or maybe just come to Carl's. She says, with you? I'll just effing sleep to your back. I'm mad AF and I'm having bad thoughts. Thanks. He says, no, go home. She said, you just said, I'll see you later. He says, yeah, I can still see you later. She says, and I'm crying, talking to Angelo about the shit you won't talk to me about. He says, yeah, have him drive you home. She says, I don't think my dad is home yet. I'll text my mom. She says, I'm crying so hard right now. He says, that's so fried. She says, what's fucking fried? You being mean to me? Dom says, no, you crying. She says, it's about so much shit. I literally hate myself. I have to go to the doctor about my stomach and I'm scared. What page is this? He says, same. She says, and you're putting more stress on me when I just need your love. Okay, wait, I need to go back. She's using her stomach issues. We see these stomach issues later down the line. She's using her stomach issues to manipulate him. Because remember, later he has to cook her food, pay for her food. I forgot how manipulative she was using her mental health. I know. And the food in the stomach lakeside. Poor Angelo doesn't know she's a wackadoodle yet. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know that. Ugh. Dom says, same. She says, and you're putting more stress on me when I just need your love. Dom says, same. She says, really? I'm mean to you ever? She says, you're the one making me go home when I'm crying my ass off. He says, no. Stress. Sorry if you were just home in the first place. Sorry. If you were just home in the first place, you wouldn't be crying. She says, well, now I have to effing wait. Now I have to wait to effing leave because I don't want anyone in my house to see I'm crying. And now I have to go home and I'm going to be home alone again and have nothing to do. Then go chill with Phil and hit a vape. And I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to go home and see my messy room or my house or anyone in my family. Interesting. Dom says, nothing I can do right now. She says, let me stay and this will be chill. Like, I'll do anything to stay. I won't bother you. She says, I won't bother you while you're there. He said, that's exactly what I don't want to do. She says, come on, please, let me stay. I'll leave you alone while you're at Carl's. She says, I'm having a straight breakdown right now. He says, I didn't go to Carl's. I didn't bring any of their shit. I want to come back and grab it. Kenzie says, then where are you? Then come get it. He says, well, I don't want you there. She says, what if I just go with Angela right now to Kohl's? Then you can get the stuff and then I'll be gone. How far are you? He says, I'm not very far. She says, that'll work then. Can I just go with him there and you can just come back and I'll be back when you're gone? Please? He says, why do you have to be here? Why can't you just be gone? Oh my God. Why is this tripping me out? It's literally tripping me out because like the way he's acting right now is how I wish he acted in 2021. Mid 2021 to 2022, she is evil. And I just wish this is the attitude that he would have kept in the future. Like, I'm screaming right now. She needs to learn the fine art of rage cleaning. She's a nightmare to deal with. He says, why can't you just be gone? She says, I don't want to go home. He says, why? She says, because my room's a mess and it just stresses me out. So clean your room. Like, what the fuck? Hang on. These are just like, I couldn't remember these. I think we covered so much true crime. I just forgot about some of these and her stupid ass behavior. She says, because my room's a mess and it just stresses me out. It's bad there right now. Me and my mom are fighting. Oh, so what are you and Natalie fighting about, huh, Kenzie? We're curious. What you and mom's fighting about? Because we hear all the time you talking shit about your family and your house and your parents. I've just there's more to that. I truly believe, in my opinion. Dom says, "Of course you are." He says, "Of course you are. Of course you're fighting with your mom." She says, "Please, babe." So now Dom says, "So now it's my problem?" Kenzie said, "No, it's not." Dom says, "I guess it isn't. Is it?" She says, "You're my only supporter. I'll be cool when you be back." Dom says, "That's too much pressure." Kenzie says, "I won't bring shit up." Dom says, "That's not going to happen." Kenzie said, "You and Nat, she can't be around me." "It will. Promise." "Please, Dom, let me stay. I'll be gone when you come back to get the shit. Please, please, please." He says, "I will have to walk all the way back to Carl's though." She says, "I thought that's what you wanted. Please let me stay. I'll go with Angelo and then you can come get the shit." "Dom, please." "He needs to go. Please. It will be good." Dom says, "Just go with him then." She says, "Okay, I am," at 5:38 p.m. She says, "Come back. I'll say when I'm back home." Then she says, "I'm gone. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Go get this shit." And then she says, that was at 4:39. And then she says, "Did you leave yet?" "Babe, where you at now?" She emphasizes her message. "Dom, where you at?" He says, "Why?" She says, "I just want to know. I get worried and shit. Like, did you make it to Carl's?" She says, "I'm chilling right now. I'm kind of tired." "Just tell me. Come on. Don't be like this, please." Dom says, "I never came back. I might be back to grab the bud though." She says, "Where are you? Please tell me." He said, "Carl's." She says, "Oh, okay, good. Are you here? Your mom said you're here." He says, "Yeah, I just got here." She says, "When you going to be back?" He said, "Are the steaks done?" She says, "Ask Angelo." She says, "I'm really hungry and my head hurts really bad, so I don't want to get up." Then she sends a screenshot. Sh- She says, "My doctor's appointment at 10:30 tomorrow, babe. Imma just come over after." So she's at his house. He doesn't want her there. She literally waits at his house while he's out and about. And then he doesn't even wanna see her, and she's like, "Don't worry, I'll just come over right after my appointment tomorrow." This is her latching on, becoming effing psycho. Welcome to the shit show. Yeah. Hey, old days. Kenzie wanted nothing to do with her own family. But why, Lakeside? Why? Why did she not want something to do with her family? Because they didn't care about her? Because now Shirley didn't give a shit about her? Letting her go out in thongs, smoke all the weed she wanted, abuse her boyfriend? She says, "My doctor's appointment at 10:30 tomorrow, babe. Imma just come over after." Dom says, "Okay, good luck." It's now literally midnight. She says, "I'm worried." Dom says, "It'll be fine." He says, "What if we sold the clothes off Amazon and not those other sites? We can sell anything on Amazon." She says, "Really? That would be cool too." She says, "Might puke again. I feel shitty." Dom says, "Damn, I'm sorry, babe. Are you okay?" She said, "I just feel weird and shit." Dom says, "Are you okay?" She says, that was at 9:59 a.m. And she says, "Yeah, I just woke up and I'm going at 10:15. I'm so scared." Dom says, "You'll be fine." She says, "I'm praying. For real, I woke up and my stomach just hurt already." He says, "You'll be good." She says, "I'm on the way to school right now. How's school?" Dom says, "Pretty good. What are you doing?" She says, "I'm waiting to get in. I'm scared right now." He says, "You'll be good." She says, "I'm in there right now." He says, anything happened yet? She says, no, we're waiting on the doctor. This shit sucks. He says, tough. She says, right? I'm so worried. Dom says, you'll be cool. She says, we're just talking about it right now. I honestly don't know what's going on with me. Dom says, you'll be fine. Dom says, I see Vinny walking all the time with Audrey. It's so awkward. Kenzie says, ew, I'll say something to Vinny. Why does it bother you? Why does it bother you? Dom says, because Vinny just stares at me, LOL. Kenzie says, what the F? I'll beat the shit out of Audrey and Vinny. Dom says, yeah, just let them be, LOL. She says, eh. Dom says, Vinny just texts me, like, what the F happened? Kenzie says, I told him not to bring Audrey around you. So Dom mentions this person. Then she texts that person, literally, to not bring Audrey around Dom. And Dom gets a text message like, what the fuck? She's a psycho. These are things I missed the first time around. It's a trick. What's a trick? I never get bored hearing this madness. She's so crazy. I guess I'm a little crazy because I wanted to hear these again. I have a feeling Kenzie's personality disorder started to become noticeable around 12, 13. Her parents seemed lazy, so it was easier for her to give in than to have to deal with the psycho tantrum. Damn, the true... Hey, Derek, good to see you. She says, I told him not to bring Audrey around you. He says, when am I ever around him? Kenzie says, I don't know. I have to pee for an STD test and pregnancy and UTI. I'm so scared right now. She says, oh my God. He says, why are you crying? You're going to be fine. She says, I'm scared. Like, what if I have one of those? Dom says, you probably don't. She says, I literally pray I don't. I'm begging to be fine. Dom says, yeah, you'll be fine. Don't be mean to Vinny, though. She says, Dom, I'm not pregnant. This is wild. I'm wondering if she thought she was pregnant here. By the time she found Dom and her family was probably relieved for her to be out of the house. Very low self-esteem. Very low. This means that she maybe thought she was pregnant. And she would have been 15 at this time. 15 going on 16 or just freshly 16. She says, Dom, I'm not pregnant. And I don't want to F with Vinny anymore. Dom says, LOL, I knew you weren't pregnant. Who cares? He's 14 and probably just has a boner. Kenzie laughs at his message and says, I was so worried. They're testing me for STDs right now. Dom says, LOL. She says, this might be from stress and constipation. LOL. Dom says, probably. She says, I wonder why I feel like shit though. Dom says, I don't know. I just hope it's all good soon. She says, I'm getting an x-ray right now. I can still come over after, right? He says, when I might want to chill with Sheen for a little. She said, like at 12, probably be done. She says, I'm waiting for this x-ray right now. I wonder what's going to show up. She says, I'm done, so I can come over at noon. She says, Dom? He says, I'm not home. She says, I know. Can I come over right now? Why does she want to go over when he's not even home? She thought she was pregnant because she was trying to her stomach issues, remember? Or manipulation. Like, which is it? Can you imagine? I can't imagine if she would have been pregnant. She says, I know. Can I come over right now? I'm just going to sleep, probably. So she wants to go to his house when he's not even there. And she just wants to sleep in his fucking bed like a weirdo. Have you done this before? Now I'm putting you on the spot. Okay, I have done this before. I'm guilty. I have with my ex. Sometimes he would be at work, but it was only because I was off work earlier. So I would like wait for him, but I wasn't living there. Was I trying to be controlling? Sure, I guess to some extent. um, Not the confession time, but never like this. This is crazy. Never, Melly. Oh, I'm just calling myself out. Okay, all right. I'll go back to the text. She says, I'm just gonna sleep probably. He says, but I'm gonna chill with Sheen around eighth period. She says, so is that a no? I'm confused. He says, yeah. She says, okay, so I can come after he leaves though, right? What time is he dipping? She questions her own message. He says, yeah. Okay. Did you see what I sent you on Insta? LOL. Dom says, no. When? Maybe. She says, LOL. I sent it when I was at the doctor. Are you chilling with Devin right now? Dom says, no, not yet. She says, I literally feel so shitty. They just told me not to be stressed. Like, give me something that makes me feel better. This sucks. He says, who? So are you okay? She says, the doctor. It's stress and intestine issues from smoking. So Kenzie, you knew in 2020 you were having intestinal issues from smoking, but we have the Snapchats of you smoking the bong in your closet at your mom's house up until 2022, bitch. So I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to hear it. Dom says, I told you to smoke less. She says, like, the stress is making a lot of stomach acid and shit. And you were pretty much right about the weed shit. You're so smart. He says, probably more about the vaping. She says, yeah, true. And like, it's slowing down my intestines a little. So it's making me feel even more shitty. I haven't smoked today, though. Like, I feel like I'm going to puke right now. He says, do you feel better when you smoke? She says, I mean, yeah, low key, only when it's a lot, though. When is he leaving? Babe? She emphasizes her own message. Dom, 2:03 p.m., by the way. He says, I don't know. She says, I want to come over soon. Don't smoke a backwood without me. Please? She says, I'm bored as shit. She questions her own message. Dom? He says, we're a ballin'. He says ballin' because they used to play basketball. She says, oh, who's all? Can I come watch? He says, no, just me, Devin, and Blair. She said, come on. You said yesterday I could come over during the day, and now you say I can't. I just want to come over. I'm sick of being here. Let me come before 3, at least, please. He says, it'll be soon. Sorry, babe. No, probably after. She says, that's not soon. I'll literally watch. I'm so bored. Please? She emphasizes her own message. Okay, just let me come around 3:10. Or now, dot, dot, dot. She loves her own message. He says, no, in a little. She says, come on. I'm so bored. Please. A little is like 1 fucking hour for you. This shit is stressing me out. Just let me come now. Like right now. Dom? Question mark, question mark. It's literally been so long. Let me come. Answer. I'm getting so mad. You said it will be soon, and you had me waiting for over an hour. This shit stresses me out, and that's the last thing I need right now. It's time to let me come. He says, Kenzie, come on. We literally just went through this the other day. She said, yes. And you said soon I can come. You said I can come during the day. And I just said, okay, when you said no. Or when you said, let me chill with Sheen. Dom says, soon to you is way shorter than soon to me. Kenzie said, soon isn't 3 effing hours. Soon is 10 to 30 minutes. Just let me come, Dom. You're just giving me more stress for no reason. Let me come. Let me. Dom says, soon is like 1 hour. Kenzie says, it's been like an hour and a half. Let me come. Question mark, question mark. Just let me come. Like, I don't see what the issue is. I just let you chill with them when you said you would chill with me. You said soon. I say, okay, now it's time. I'm going to have a fucking mental breakdown. Dom says, we literally went through this the other day and you still never listen. Kenzie says, went through what? And you said we can hang out today. Dom says, we can. She says, oh, now you can't even talk on the phone? I'm so stressed right now. Dom says, because I don't want to get mad. Kenzie said, it's been 2 hours. You said soon. Dom says, actually, I already am. Kenzie says, please, just let me come now. I'm bored. And I have just been sitting and waiting. You can still play basketball. I don't care. I'll just watch you. I just want to come over. Why do you have to get so mad when I want to be around you, sad face? Answer me. Question mark, question mark. Question mark, question mark. Just let me come, Dom. Just let me. I'm literally begging you. I'm supposed to not have stress. This is just making it worse. He says, of course, you just put it on me. She sends a screenshot. You said little. That was at 3:02. It's now 3:29, you guys. So 27 minutes later. He says, it's been 20 minutes. She said, nothing is funny. He says, that's barely enough time to take a shit. Yeah. Question mark, question mark. Here we go. I think I need to like tattoo that on my forehead. This is what happens when you tell a child, no, I'm screaming. Hey, Nicole, chase, chase, chase. She's annoying, says Evie. I truly think she has borderline personality disorder. I think this too. I do. This has always been one of my opinions. I'm like, okay, there's something here. Or bipolar disorder, like maybe like a level 3. Does that exist? There's nothing you can do to fix a personality disorder. Her smoking all this weed didn't help. Her parents giving in shaped her personality too. I have literally never begged for someone's attention like this. I did it once and I never did it again. And I will absolutely never do it again. Let me just make that clear. Hey, 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆. I'm waiting for the we have problems. I'm already screaming. He says, I just think about like how we're here and then we're there 100 miles per hour into the freaking building. They couldn't recognize him at the scene. How do you kill your boyfriend like this? Truly, this will always be one of the craziest. This case is up there with like Jodi Arias, who we are also covering. If you haven't checked that out, please do. It's up there. It's up there with the psychos. He says, that's barely enough time to take a shit. She says, me sitting on my phone waiting for you to tell me that I can come. A little is like 5 to 10 minutes though. He says, you should be able to do something else. He's like, you should have a life. Kenzie says, well, I effing hate my house, so no. Why do you hate your house so much, Kenzie? Maybe Kenzie's parents, Steve and Natalie, didn't have a good, healthy relationship. Is that a fair assumption? Somebody said, Kenzie, get a life. He says, like, they leaving soon, and I just now spent all that time texting you. She says, so what? I'm important to you, just like you're important to me. When are they leaving? She says, stop. Please don't do this to me. I'm not even trying to argue with you. We're still on January the 15th, by the way. She says, I'm literally just sitting in your room if you want me to. Dom says, you can come in a little, okay? Stop being so frustrating. She says, how long? I'm not trying to. Sorry. Dom says, half hour. She says, what? At fucking 4? He says, 4:03. She says, Dom, no. Why do you do this? What do you mean? Says Dom. Stop. It's okay. She says, no, it's not. He says, I can't take this. Wait, I forgot that he started saying this so early in the relationship. Well, in the text messages. I forget that this started as early as 2020. Did you guys remember this? Like, what page are we on? Need to keep track. So in 2020, on January the 15th, he's already like, I can't take this. I can't take this. Dom was living with his mom at this time, right? Yes, he was. He says, I can't take this. She says, you keep saying soon, so I get hyped up to leave. Then you say, no, not now. Then soon. Then wait. Like I'm coming over at 4:03. If someone was smothering me like this. Yeah, she's toxic. She says, I'm coming over at 4:03. Dom says, okay. She says, no, saying sooner or wait. I'm texting you on the way. This shit isn't okay. You know, I'm sick AF right now. I need the least amount of stress I can get. Just try to chill and bring angry at me. I think there's a typo there. Yeah, because you don't make sense. Dom says, I'm sorry, but you know I'm bipolar. He says this a lot throughout the text message, how he had bipolar disorder. So he must have known, right? He was bipolar. And does that matter in this relationship? Yes, it does. Because she eggs him on. She tries to have him freak out on purpose. She says, I know, it just makes me stress. I try to stop because my stomach is effed up. I'll tell you in detail about this when I'm over at your house at 4:03. He says, okay. You can come at 4:02 if you want. I feel like he's being sarcastic there. She says, yay. Okay, babe. I will come then. He says, okay, if this will really make you happy, 4:01 could work. I feel like he's being sarcastic here. Dom was the plug. She was not letting all that supply go. How did Miss Russo know he was bipolar? Not know he was. I think she did. I think they did know about Dom's stuff. I just don't think they wanted that out publicly. We unfortunately heard about them through these text messages, which is rough. These are the text messages that are in the evidence package, which I'm assuming the judge read and at least reviewed. Hey, Annie. Hi from Sunny as this girl is where she belongs forever. Like she forces him to be mean. He tries to be nice when he says he can't run at her back and call and just keeps asking and asking. This is her slowly becoming deadly obsessed. He says, okay, if this really makes you happy, 4:01 would work. She says, yay. Want to get some good food? She said, that's what Dom said. She says, yes, I have to eat high fiber food, so I'm down. Dom said, maybe Olive Garden? Kenzie said, yes. Dom says, did they tell you what to eat? Kenzie says, no, they just said high fiber foods. Dom says, okay, we'll figure it out. Probably like bananas and fruits. Kenzie says, yeah, I have to drink this gross ass shit too. I sent it to you on Insta. Dom says, avocado is really good in fiber. I looked it up. It's literally just like everything that's good for you, like fruits, nuts, and seeds. Kenzie says, oh, I love fruit. Yay. I'm wearing jammies over. Dom says, LOL. Kenzie says, you got to feel my stomach. It's so effed up. LOL. I'm coming soon. Dom said, yeet. Kenzie said, LOL. She says, on the way at 4:01 p.m., literally. So they hang out at 4:01 p.m. And then at 7:14 p.m., so she must have gone home. She says, "Where are you at? Can I come back? Can I come out or are you coming back?" She emphasizes it. She says, "I fucking hate my house. Text me when you're up, babe." So she says, "I effing hate my house" at 11:55 p.m. I feel like maybe her hating her house was a form of manipulation. Like she's like, "Oh, I hate my house." You know how she moved herself in? Dom didn't want her to move in. Dom never asked her like, "Hey, Kenzie, like, I love you so much. We're in a relationship. Like, let me move in." No, she forced herself in there, being verbally and emotionally abusive. And so I wonder, like, maybe this whole thing about her hating her house was just made up shit. Like, maybe she is this manipulative, you know? Like, we've been sitting here thinking like you hate Natalie. Well, we see why. We see why she talks shit about her mom because Natalie doesn't look very good in the phone calls. Like, I will just say that, Natalie Shirilla, you sound like a clown in some of these phone calls. And if you guys have missed those, there's a playlist for those, babe. Don't get FOMO. I got you. I have them in my video section and I have them in the lives. I got you. I got you. I got you. And in those calls, I'm sorry, Natalie, but you sound like trash. And so, and that's just my opinion only. Everyone's allowed to have their own opinion, whatever. But maybe she just made it up. Maybe she didn't really hate her house and she just wanted to manipulate Dom, you know? But if she hated her house, I wouldn't blame her. So they go from January the 15th at midnight to 6:35 a.m. on the 16th. She said, "Text me when you're up, babe. Wakey, let me know when I can come in." He said, "Can you bring me shorts?" She says, "What ones?" She said, "I can. FaceTime me." It jumps to 10:12 a.m. She says, "Babe." She said, "Okay, I sent a pic of shorts on Snap. I have to walk at 25, so answer." She emphasizes her own message. He said, "Just bring me a short pair." She said, "Look at Insta." She says, "I don't want to bring the wrong ones." Dom says, "I need shoes too." She said, "LOL, what shoes?" "Look at Insta." "I finished the whole Play-Doh thing. I just need to take my finals," she says at 11:27. She says, "I might leave soon." "What time are you coming back?" He says, "After 8." He says, "JM, I'm on my way home now. Sheen about to go back." Kenzie says, "LOL. Oh, okay, LOL. Some shit might be going down up here. Gracie and Bianca both up here." She says, "I feel so sick." Dom says, "LOL. Go home then." She says, "I'm coming to your house after this period." So he tells her, "Go home." And then she's like, "Nah, I'm coming to your house." Her parents let her sleep over at an adult man's house. Dude, if I was doing that, my dad would come get me fucking with the police or dragging me by my hair. He's not a violent man, but at this age, absolutely not. If I did it, it was because I was sneaking out. Okay, this isn't about me. I'm just saying. She definitely has mental issues. I agree, Lisa. She says, "I'm coming to your house after this period. I'm leaving at 3:30 because I work." Sad face. She says, "I'm leaving in like 2 minutes. Thanks for smoking without me." Sad face. Dom says, "What do you mean? You're not even supposed to smoke a lot. And I left some. We can smoke when I get back." She said, "It's fine. I just want to smoke bad right now." He said, "Hit the bong." She says, "Your room got so boxed, I opened a window for you." Dom says, "Pick whatever weed you want. Make yourself some food, probably too. That would smack." She says, "I just ate. LOL." Dom says, "LOL." If someone is waiting at home for me, like before I get back from Trader Joe's monitoring me, we're gonna have a problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be this controlling. There are some people that are, though. The biggest mystery is, what did Dom ever see in her? Debbie. The $1,000,000 question. I ask myself this every time I wake up. I look in the mirror and I'm like, why? Why do men date women like this? Why? I guess the same could be said, right? Yeah. Why do women date men like this too? Goes both ways, but Dom had to have a fascination with unibrows. Abe says, Dom says, LOL. Kenzie says, your room's really cloudy right now, so I'm gonna wait to go in. Dom says, yeah, that's the move. Kenzie said, LMAO, I don't know what else to eat though. Dom says, I don't know. There should be stuff there. She says, I got a banana. He says, nice. She says, I'm there right now. Dom said, nice. She says, I'm scared. Dom says, LOL. She says, I'm scared. Dom says, why? LOL. She says, this is so hard. It's about to be lit with Carl. Wait. She says, Maddie and Phil came to see me. She says, we're chilling in 1 hour. So she was working. He says, I have practice. She says, when? He says, 8. She says, damn, really? Can we chill till 8 then? He says, yeah. She says, yeah, yay, where are you at right now? He said, Carl's. Kenzie said, this kid and me talking, and he showed me his girl. So I like this, my baby. And he was like, wow, he looks like a god. Kenzie says, I'm coming to Carl's at 7. I want to hang. That message about Dom and that guy saying he looked like a god, I really do think that's what she thought of Dom. Like, I think she was so obsessed with him. He was good to her. She says, I want to hang at 6:31 p.m. Dom says, no, we're leaving Carl's. Kyle has to leave. Kenzie said, okay, where will you be at 7? He says, home. She says, okay, bet I'll be there. No one invited you, dude. Is it ugly, Carl? Yes, it is ugly, Carl. She's asking most females would demand, and that's too much pressure. Oh, okay. Unibrow fetish is Joker. Okay, I see. What most females demand? What do they demand? Really, you're so funny. Oh no, I want to know. Humor me, babes. Humor me. Tell me. This is why we're reviewing this. Old Day says I try to get my ADHD under control. Listen, I read these and I think I must be more toxic than I think I am because it's different. It's different. Not me making excuses. I feel like we're back in like therapy right now. I feel like I need to I'm sitting in front of my therapist. This is almost therapy for me. Here I am talking about how toxic I have been in my past, or maybe am a toxica. I'm screaming. How amazing would it have been if Dom just walked away from this psychopath back in 2020? The emotions are high right now. I go from being angry to being disgusted to being relatable to being upset for Dom. I'm upset. Cashmere said, yeah, exactly. He thought he would help Kenzie change. She manipulated him because he is not like this. He's nicer to her and he's more patient with her and he sticks around. He ends up, I think, falling in love with her. And I'm really confused. I'm really confused as to why. How about that? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Becky, good to see you. She says, I'm back for more tea. She seems clingy. Clingy? Just clingy? Seems excessively clingy. Do you want your girlfriend just waiting for you at home? You're taking a shit. There she is on the bed. You go shower, there she is on the bed. You want to go to your car, there she is on your bed. Or he. You want to fucking brush your hair, there she is on the bed. You want to go eat a banana, there she is on the bed. I mean, who can deal with this? And if so, you don't even have to pay a therapist for you to hear it. It's a problem. And I'm here for you, babes. I'm here for you. I am. I relate more to Dom. I used to be kind of mean in hopes they would just go away. Let's continue. She says, okay, bet I'll be there. I'm a change. Then I'm off right now. Dom says, okay, I'm on the way home right now. She says, yay. And that was at 7:05. So they must have hung out. And then at 11:58, she says, night, babe. He says, good night. She says, I think I know why I'm itchy. I'm allergic to cats. That's where Jim sleeps. And I low-key got hives on my face too. He says, oh, maybe? She says, yeah, I'm still like itchy and shit right now. I have hella little dots on the right side of my face. Dom says, I don't know. Wash yourself. I'm screaming. Because we know she doesn't like to take a shower. What did Miss BS say? Abe used to them tóxicas. Double scoop. Dom says, I don't know, wash yourself. She says, yeah, I know. Then she says at 1:46 a.m., like, can you let him breathe, dude? I already feel smothered and we're only like 20 pages in. Is this how we were feeling last time? No, because we didn't know what was coming. We didn't know what was coming. Yeah, wash yourself. I'm going to make a new emote about washing your ass because Kenzie seriously doesn't know what the hell that means. Anyways, she says, how's that salad? LOL. Dom says, kind of old. Kenzie says, I feel it. Salad low-key sounds good right now. I don't mean to type right after. Dom says, LOL. She says, text me when you're up, babe, at 6:36 a.m. So she goes from 1 a.m. to 6:36. So like 5 hours. She says, I need to leave to get a ride from a parent. You need to answer. Dom, oh my God, I need to catch a ride. Answer. Dom, OMFG, I'm panicking. Answer the phone. I'm just going to come over next with whatever parent that's here. She says, I'm coming over. You can't be mad, for real. You can't just be doing this to me. For real, I need to come over in the morning and you know that. Where are you? I'm like half asleep. Wait, so she jumps from 7:28 a.m. to 2:47 p.m. She says, where are you? I'm like half asleep. I work. Question mark, question mark. More question marks. She said, what the F? I'm wide awake now. Where you at? She says, where you at? Bruh, Carl called off. It's just me and 2 other dudes. I'm bummed. She said, also that weird ass Dom kid is sitting in front of Taco Bell, LMAO. Wait, what? She says, I'm bummed. Also, that weird ass Dom kid is sitting in front of Taco Bell, LMAO. Dom says, that sucks. Damn, that sucks. You mean the meme page kid, right? She said, yes. He came up to me and was like, hey, Kenzie. Dom says, LOL. She says, I'm having fun, low key. We're on January 17th, 2020, 5:35 p.m. She says, the manager's cool and I just met a girl named Mackenzie too. Haha. Dom says, that's dope. Kenzie said, bruh, they just told me more nasty shit about that Chinese place. Dom says, what about it? She says, bruh, the guy who passes samples doesn't wash his hands when he uses the bathroom. Ew, what? Screaming. Dude, this is too much for me. Like, I want someone to like me I do. Not like this, though. Like, if you're gonna stalk me, there's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a problem. She says, that's literally so fucking nasty. Like, why? She says, come get food from the mall and say hi to me, babe. Dom says, I have no way to go there. Kenzie said, aren't you with Eric and Tyler? When you come with them, see me, see your babe working. Dom says, I'm not, and I'm not taking all that time. Kenzie says, oh. Dom says, I'm sorry, babe. I'm sad. She says, why are you sad? Sad face. We can talk about it tonight if you want. Dom says, I'm not sad anymore. I forgot at 7:14 p.m. I don't think Dom forgot. I just think he didn't want to tell her. He says, well, I probably know why. She says, I'm off. Can I come chill? That's good. You're not sad anymore, too. She says, answer. She says, okay, I'm a shower when I'm home. Maybe you will want to hang after. She says, it's Friday. I can be late out, too. She emphasizes her own message. She says, Dom? He says, okay, at 8:32 p.m. She says, I'll text you after I shower. I just got home. She says, I'm out. What are you doing right now? 9:04 p.m. Did you go, babe? She questions it. He says, yeah, I'm driving. She says, oh, my bad. Sorry. When do you think you're going to be back at your house? I want to chill soon because I miss you. Babe, text me back. She questions her own message. Dom? Question mark, question mark. Dom says, I don't know. I'm going to go chill and smoke with Eric and Carl. Kenzie says, can I come? Dom says, no, sorry. If your boyfriend doesn't even want you to hang out, why are you trying to tag along? If my boyfriend told me no, I'd be like, you know what? Calling you up right now. We're breaking up. Because what's the point? What is even the point? Thank you, Richie. Richie says, can't even poop. No, you can't even poop in peace. No, because I'll be right there on your bed, Richie, waiting for you to come out. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. It's really kind of you. His friends didn't want her. Nobody wanted her around, not even her own mother. Okay, Natalie Shirilla, you can come up on here and tell me if I'm wrong. Did you really want to deal with this? Did you? The way you put her off on the Russo family? The way you let her live over there when she was telling you how crazy she was? Nah. I think Natalie and I need to have a conversation on here. Because there's a problem here. So Dom says, no, sorry. She says, that's gay AF. Okay, we'll try to be home before 12. Bitch, what are you doing trying to tell him what time to be home at? You're like 15, 16 years old. Screaming. Anyways, she says, because I just want to chill tonight. Or can I just come over tomorrow morning? Dom, answer. He says, I don't know if I can be home before then. She says, can I just come over early tomorrow then? That sucks. For real, I wanted to hang. She says, what are you doing right now? She likes her own message. He says, smoking a wood. I don't know. I have basketball. She says, damn, without me again? What time is it, baby? Basketball. She says, I'll just stay over at your house. He didn't ask you to stay. Oh my God. I'm not surprised his friends were like, nah. His friends didn't want her on either. No, they didn't. He says, sorry, it's a honey berry too. She says, damn, oh, the flavor. She says, I'm coming over in the morning. I'm asleep. Have fun, babe. I'll call you in the morning. He says, I just crashed my mom's car. So that was her last message was at 11:34 p.m. And then he texted her at 2 o'clock in the morning. He said, I just crashed my mom's car. She says, stop. Are you okay? Babe, I'm worried AF right now. Holy shit. I'm worried. I'm stressing the F out. I'm crying. I'm scared. She emphasized her own message. LOL, there's no way I'm about to sleep anytime soon. Now I'm worried. Please just answer. Okay, just text me ASAP when you're wakey, babe. I'm worried. Text me when you're up. Please. Babe, are you up? She says at 9:34 a.m. She says, please just text me when you're up and let me come over. I'm so stressed. I'm praying you're okay. Babe? She questions her own message. He says, yeah, I'm fine. At 11:02 a.m. She says, babe, let me come over right now. I've been worried all night. I can come right now. Please? I miss you. He says, let me just chill alone for a bit. She says, sad face, you were alone all last night. You said we would chill in the morning, and I've been straight crying, worried about you. Whatever, Dom. What time can I come? I want to know what happened. He says, I slid and hit a sign. That's it. The whip pretty fucked, though. She says, oh, no, I'm just glad you're not hurt. I was so scared. What time can I come over? And do you have whiplash or anything? Dom? Text me when you're awake again. I want to come see you. She emphasized her own message. Please? Let me come when you're up. Okay, babe, I'm going to the mall. As soon as you wake up, hit me up. I'll go get you some food. Dom says, okay, I'll probably just make bagels, to be honest. She says, okay, LOL, when do you want to chill? I can bring you Cane's or Charlie's, babe. If not, go to the mall if you want to hang right now. Wait, what? I'll just not go to the mall if you want to hang right now. Answer real quick because I'm driving. Dom says, no, I got to eat breakfast and get ready. She says, ready for what? Are you going to basketball? He said, yeah. She said, okay, good. Text me when you get home. Are you there right now? She said, at 1 p.m. He says, it's at 3. She said, okay, Gracie wants a cart later too. He says, I won't be able to drive. She said, what about Angelo's car? Dom says, I just got in a car accident. The roads are really bad. I'm not driving. I just gave my mom bad insurance. Kenzie says, I understand. I feel bad. I'm just happy you're okay for real. Dom says, if I slid off a different road, I could have died. I slid like 20 to 30 feet. Kenzie says, holy shit. That's so scary. How did you start sliding? What street were you on? Dom says, I was going less than 20 miles per hour too, and I slid that far. Kenzie says, when I woke up and seen that text, I just started crying. I thought you were in the hospital because you stopped answering. Was it snowing when you were driving? Dom says, that would be so sad. Yeah, it was. She says, right? I was so worried. I texted Angelo because you didn't answer. And he's like, quote unquote, Dom's sleeping like a baby, which made me happy to know you were okay. Dom says, I think I'm fine. We just hit a sign. My back is a little sore, but it's been a little sore. So Kenzie says, I'll give you a massage when I come over. And who was all there? I'm so happy you're okay. I can't even say how happy I am. Dom says, I just wish it was my car and not my mom's. This message is like very telling because later in the relationship, like Dom doesn't want to tell his mom about him being abused. He doesn't want to put that stress on Miss Russo because she was having issues at that time. And we love Miss Russo here. We do. And I don't blame Dom. He's being a good son. Like, he doesn't want to stress his mom who's already having health issues, like, oh, I wish she would have known, I don't blame her at all, Miss Russo. For people are like, oh, well, why didn't she step in? Okay, yeah, okay, fine to some extent, but she didn't really know what was going on with him being, verbally abused and emotionally abused to the extent that he was. So most abuse victim too, guys, remember, statistics show that, especially in men, they don't come forward with that stuff right off the bat. Like, it's like taboo in some way, He says, I wish it was, and it matters. Why I'm saying these things now matter when we get to 2021 or 2022. Dom says, I just wish it was my car, not my mom's. He says, now she has to get a rental. Kenzie says, how fucked is the car? Do you have pics? Is it like undrivable? Dom says, the bottom bumper is dragging and the front is effed up. So yeah, it's not good. But it's not like you need a whole new car. You can just get a new one. What? It's not like you need a whole new car. You can just get a new one. He means a new bumper. She says, damn, you guys are so lucky. Are you all okay? He says, yeah, I'm just glad I was driving down Pearl to Carl's house. Like, what if I was on Shermer or Boston? That shit would have been effed. Kenzie says, oh my God, did the cops show up or did y'all just drive away? What are you doing now, babe? Send me a pic of the front of your mom's car. Dom says, I don't feel like it. It's really snowy. She says, LOL, when you leave for practice, show me then. After practice, can I bring you food? Dom says, okay, I'm going to have Marco drive me somewhere after though. Just to Xavier's and that's it. Kenzie said, okay, that's cool. It will take me a minute to get the food and leave anyways. Dom says, okay, maybe another place on the way too. She says, I got some clothes. And who? LOL. He said, what? She said, I just got some cute clothes. And where else are you stopping? Maddie and Gracie got robbed, she says. Dom says, bruh, how? Kenzie says, they were with these dudes and they went to Walmart to pee and then the dudes drove away with all their shit. Maddie's whole bag with her card and personal shit and Gracie's personal shit. And Maddie, and I know Maddie asked you for a ride. I'm glad you didn't answer. Oh, keep track. This is important, you guys. Maddie is someone that Dom allegedly cheated on Kenzie with. Do I believe he actually cheated on her? No. Kenzie was manipulative, breaking up with him, threatening him, blackmailing him. So I don't think she cheated on Dom or Dom cheated on her. But Maddie becomes an issue later in the future. So don't forget this name. She says, and I know Maddie asked you for a ride. I'm glad you didn't answer. She says, when are you going to be home? Dom says, soon. Kenzie says, I can come over when you're home, right? Dom says, yeah, but I got to drop that. Kenzie says, okay, I'll just wait at your house for you. I don't need to come. Do you want some type of food? I need to dip before 5 because they asked if I would work today. And I said, no, I have a party for a family. Dom says, probably not. I don't feel that good. Kenzie says, okay, I'll be home when you're home then. Be there when you're home. I'm going to come as soon as you're home. Babe, she emphasizes. She says, where are you at right now? At 5:04 p.m. He says, I'm still waiting for X to text me back. Sorry, babe. She says, sad face. Are you sure I just can't come over right now and just chill there when you leave? It's okay. I just want to come soon. I miss you. Question mark. He says, it's okay, babe. I'm going to leave soon and we can smoke woods. The suspense will be worth it. Kenzie says, okay, babe. I'll be home. Just hit me up when you're back. Dom says, okay. Kenzie says, you going to be home soon? So she literally goes from 5:14 to 5:33. You going to be home soon? Babe? He says, yeah, I'm on the way. She said, okay, just text me when you're home. I'll be over ASAP. She says, are you home? He says, not yet. She says, how far are you? She questions it. He says, mall. She said, where did you go? He said, Xavier's house. Not even over there. Wait, she says, Xavier's house is not even over there. Dom says, I know. He never answered. Kenzie says, oh, where did you end up going then? She says, where are you at? He says, making money. I'm sorry. Kenzie says, you said you were going to be home soon at 6:19 p.m. Where else do you have to go? She emphasizes her own message. Dom says, a couple more stops. She says, like where? Can I just come through right now and wait at your house? When are you going to be back? For real? How far are you? Dom says, I'm trying. It'll be soon. Kenzie says, can I just come over and wait? I've been waiting since 5. It's been like 2 hours. Will you be there at 7 or could I just come at 7? Like this shit fucking sucks. She questions her own message. Dom says, hold up. I got one more sale. She says, OMFG, I'm so annoyed right now. Just let me come over. Shake my head. You've been had one more sale, like question mark. More question marks. Dom says, okay, I'm going to be home in like 6 minutes. She says, whatever, shake my head. You better be home when you better hit me up when you're home. Like as soon as you pull in your driveway, for real. She has a fear of abandonment. Dude, she's controlling. No. I would be like, babe, you can miss me with that shit all day long. You are not allowed to show up at my house until I say so. Hey, TTG. Good to see you. Cat Rondo Dogs Drill. Hi, meow meow. Gracie the worker. The schmeck worker. I didn't say it. It's just what we know. I've been with way worse women like this. It's not even bad. Oh, it gets bad. Don't you worry. Kenzie and her controlling issues. She said, like, as soon as you pull in your driveway, for real. She says, where are you? At 7:02 p.m. And can you at least answer text? Because I know you're not the one driving. Dom says, come through. She says, okay, on the way. She says, where you at 8:01 p.m.? He says, I'm in the kitchen. She says, why are you taking 30 minutes to come back? I can't even tell you how effing tired I am of waiting for you. How much longer are you going to make me wait? Another 2 hours? Dom says, you can come out here. So she's literally at his house and doesn't want to come out to like mingle. Maybe because Miss Russo already knew you were a piece of shit. Obsessive and possessive. If only he nipped it early in the month. That's the thing is, I don't think he knew how crazy she was going to get. I really don't. And I think he loved her. I do. I know. We all talk about what could he love her for? Why? What does he see in her? Please, you tell me if you see something in her that makes you, that's a green light. Like, would you want to date her? Do you want to look like her? I laugh because we've already covered. Okay, I'm not trying to be mean. All right, I'm getting distracted. He says, you can come out here. She says, you could just come back in here. It's cold out there. Like, I don't get why you have to do this shit to me. I'm just like getting more mad. Like, what the F? Dom says, bring a blanket or I'll come back soon. She says, what the F are you doing? Like, why have you been out there for 30 minutes? I just don't get it. I've been so chill about you not hanging out with me the last couple days. And then this is what I get when you finally come. Dom says, I'm eating animal cookies. You want to watch TV out here? Well, now I'm just in a fucking bad mood because no one cares about effing anything. So I don't give a what you do anymore, she says. Dom says, can you try to be in a better mood? Kenzie says, why would I try if no one else is trying? Dom says, okay, well, I'm sorry to take your anger out. Kenzie says, it's either you come fix this or I'm leaving. He says, what did I do? She says, because I don't deserve to wait 2 hours to get treated like I'm not here. So that's a no? Question mark. You're not going to come fix it? Question mark. Dom says, you can come chill with me and watch TV if you want. Kenzie says, oh my God, the effort. Dom says, thanks, babe. She says, like, shake my head. Thanks so much. I'm having a lot of fun right now. Sends a screenshot. Dom says, I'm not having much fun either. He says, you want to smoke a wood? She said, thanks so much for making it seem like it's going to be fun. If I knew I'd be sitting here alone, I would have just went to effing sleep. Thanks for giving me stress too. That's just what I needed. Dom said, just come watch TV. And then we can go smoke wood at Carl's or something. He told me he would be down to chill. Kenzie says, I don't want to effing chill with Carl. Then you're just going to get weird when I try to sit by you, and I'm not dealing with that shit tonight. Oh, so I'm going to come out there and stand for 5 minutes again because that sounds so fun. Dom says, come and sit by me. She says, if you can't sleep when we FaceTime when I'm home, I'll stay up a little longer for you. I'm home, so we can FaceTime if you're still up. Oh, because it went from them hanging out to going home. So they were hanging out at 8:35. And then at 2:36 in the morning, she's harassing him. I'll stay up a little longer for you. I'm home, so we can FaceTime if you're still up. Okay, text me in the morning, babe. I miss you and I want to do something fun tomorrow. Dom says on the 19th, January 19th at 2:57 a.m. He says, I'm probably going to go work out. He says, I'm still so salty, honestly. You were saying you were going to stop trying. I think that's the move. He says, never mind that. She said, it's okay. I'm sorry for pissing you off. She says, can I come over or are you working out soon? Now it's 9:03 a.m. She says, some reason I keep waking up and thinking that you're next to me. We need to talk to Carl. Yeah, we do. I can't with her. I can't with her either. She says, some reason I keep waking up and thinking you're next to me. When you up, just text me because I want to come over ASAP. I want to have a fun day. Please, let me come over as soon as you wake up. Are you up? 11:14 a.m. Babe, can you answer my text or call? 11:15 a.m. Please answer me ASAP, Dom. I want to come over. 11:27 a.m. She removes an exclamation mark. 11:31 a.m. She emphasizes her message. 11:31 a.m. Are you working out or something? Can you at least tell me so I can come after I'm getting anxiety? 11:36 a.m. I hate waiting for you to text me back. It takes so long. 11:51 a.m. Please answer, Dom. 11:53 a.m. Okay, I've been waiting since like 9 a.m. Can you please just fucking answer the phone? 11:57 a.m. Okay, I'm just going to wait for you anyways. So whenever you answer, I'm coming over. 12:19 p.m. in the middle of the day. This shit is worrying me. Please answer. 12:47 p.m. in the middle of the day. She emphasizes her own message. She emphasizes another one of her messages at 1:02 p.m. Then she says, Dom, text me back on here. 1:13 p.m. She questions her message. 1:19 p.m. You realize Dom hasn't responded. She emphasizes her message at 1:21 p.m. She says, text me back. Please don't do this to me. I'm stressing out. 1:22 p.m. She emphasizes at 1:22 p.m. Babe, please reply. 1:24 p.m. Dom finally responds and says, I'm at home. 1:25. I'm exhausted. Are you exhausted? Like, how many text messages was that? 552 before he even responded. And I used to think I was a bitch for blocking people right away. Absolutely not, babes. Absolutely not. You block everyone who sends you this many text messages. Unless it's your bestie, I don't want to fucking hear it. I really don't. Miss B says I need a Xanax. Share. Pass them around. Just kidding. We don't deal pharmaceutical drugs here, but yeah. Thank you, DJ. He's a hostage in his own life. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wait, how many? 552. I don't know. Too many. Too much. He says, I'm home at 1:25 p.m. This is crazy. She makes it so that it's easier to give in to her demands. When we get to 2021 and 2022, you guys will be reminding you guys, I will remind you of this. We will be referring back to these when it gets so crazy that we're all like screaming on the live at your phones and I'm over here trying to punch the computer. No, it's really important to realize when the dynamic here like really changes. It really is, because it's detrimental to when she takes him out. You know, she murders him. And Davion, R.I.P. Dom and Davion. And I'm reading this respectfully. You guys know I love Dom. I have no hate for the Russo family. So I mean no harm as I read through these. I just want to make that disclaimer. These text messages prove what a nasty human she is. You know, at the end of the day, I'm not going to judge Dom. Well, Melly, it's not fair to judge Kenzie, but you're not going to judge that. Well, Dom didn't kill her. Dom didn't go and do this. So I don't want to hear it. I know. And you're entitled to your own opinion, and I allow it and I welcome it. I think that's why we have such a good time here. But at the end of the day, like, I don't care that Dom was dealing weed. I don't care that Dom wanted to be with other females at the time. I know, shocking. But we saw how nasty she was. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, who counts down to you? I don't even know if my mother did that. Maybe as I was a child a few times when I was misbehaving, but ain't nobody telling me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but you, babelets, in the chat. I will allow it from you guys. He says, I'm at home. She says at 1:26 p.m. I know. I just want to talk. I just want you to talk to me about this. I texted more on Snap, but I miss you. We didn't really chill last night. I don't want to come late again because I don't want to just wait more because I waited so long yesterday. I'm asking you for you to let me come before 3. It will make me so happy. I'm not trying to argue with you. I just want to come be with you, Dom. Please text me back. 1:28 p.m. 1:29. She emphasizes it. 1:33. She puts little arrows. He says, no, later. She says, that's too late, Dom. Please just do this for me. I want daytime with you. I don't want to be laying around. I want to do shit with you, please. I feel like you hate me on the weekends. She emphasizes her own message. Please, just reply fast, Dom. This is making me sad. 1:40 p.m. Babe, please. I miss you. I want to be around you. Please, let me come before 4. Then I want to come I don't want to come when you get tired or I get tired. I want time with you, please. Please text me back. She removes an exclamation. She emphasizes, Dom, answer me. I can come over at 3:10. Please, it would mean everything to me if you let me come over soon. I miss you and I want daytime with you. Please let me. Babe, answer me. I'm ready to leave. You just need to say I can come over at 3:10. Dom says, come over at 4. Kenzie said, okay, that's fine. Please just don't switch up the time. I'll be there at 4. Thank you. She's the type to go with you to the gym and just stand next to you. I'm dead. Oh man, that's a good one. I think that's why he was pooping so much, because he was trying to get away from her. My favorite is how they changed Nick's name throughout the whole thing. Dude, no one better be timing me on shit, because sorry, what? Absolutely, you're not going to be my boyfriend. Kenzie said, okay, that's fine. Please don't switch up the time. I'll be there for you. Thank you. Dom says, to be honest, I don't want you to come then. We know what's coming. She says, Dom, please don't do this to me. You're getting my hopes up and then letting them down. Please, just let me come over. Dom said 4:30. She says, I didn't do anything and you're punishing me for nothing. And it makes me feel like I'm nothing. Please, just meet me in the middle. I asked for 3. It would make me so happy. Please, please. I have to work early tomorrow and I want daytime with you. Please, please do this for me. She emphasizes her own message. Dom says, I want to watch football with my bros. Kenzie says, I'll watch it too, please. Dom, I'm begging you. Please. It would mean so much to me. It will show you're trying for me. Please, baby. Dom says, nah, we not trying no more, remember. And for real, I never be chilling with Mike. So no, sorry. She says, who's Mike? I'm trying. I'll always try because I care about you. Why can't you do little things for me? I'm asking for pretty much nothing. I just want to come over and spend time with you. Dom says, my brother. She says, 4:30 is the latest time, Dom. I'm coming at 4:30. Dom says, no, I want longer. Kenzie says, please, don't do this to me. I'm being so chill. He says, no, you're not. She says, I'm giving you so much time and you're giving me nothing. He says, maybe 4:30. She says, I've just been sitting here and waiting for you and waiting, and you're just telling me no. 4:30, you can't do this to me. I've been trying so hard to give you space and time, and your thank you is pushing me away even more. I'm begging you to come at 4 or 4:30. I want it to be light when I come. Please do this for me, babe. Please. 3:55 p.m. Please do this. I'll let you chill till 4:30. I'll be over at 4:30. I can get you food or a drink or anything. Dom says, okay, 4:30. I'll get anything you want. Are you getting food? She says, I'm not fully hungry, so it's really up to you. Dom says, because there's not really food here till my mom's soup leader. Kenzie says, I can get anything. Do you want canes? Dom says, if you want canes, I'll pay you back too. Kenzie says, I'm only going to eat fries, so it doesn't really matter. She says, Charlie's, Cane's, Chinese, anything? Chick-fil-A? Dom says, whatever you want. Kenzie says, Cane's fries sound so good right now. She says, what do you want to get from there, babe? He says, just get me the 4-piece combo, no coleslaw, extra fries. She says, all right, I'm going to leave at 4:30 so you have more time too. Dom said, no, he's already leaving. It's 4:11 p.m. Kenzie says, oh, when should I leave then? Dom says, I don't know, in like 10 minutes or something. Do you know where my iPhone is? He says. Kenzie says, what one? I don't know how I would know, but I can help you look when I'm there. Dom says, never mind, I got it. She says, okay, where was it? He said, under my bed. She says, oh, weird. Can I just get extra fries with your food? Because I don't want a lot. She says, I'm about to leave in like 4 minutes. She says, Dom? She emphasizes her own message. He says, I'm already up. Oh, wait, that was at 4:28 p.m. on the 19th. Then on the 20th, he says, I'm already up at 8:58 a.m. She says, you were out last night. You probably slept so good. She says, I want to sleep longer, but I don't know if I can. At least I only work 5 hours today. Dom likes her message. She says, LOL, did those brownies even come over? I'm craving them. Dom says, yeah, they're done. She says, oh, bet after work, I'm coming over to get some. Dom says, what time do you have work? She says, 11:30 to 4. She says, Cam just pissed all over my work clothes. Dom says, LOL, that's tough. Kenzie said, I'm so salty. Now I have to wear this crop top. She says, want a FaceTime or something? At 10:43 a.m. He says, yeah, one sec. I gotta get in the toilet. Kenzie says, LOL, okay. She says, just got to work. I'll text you when I'm off, babe. She says, I'm off soon. So jumps from 11:27 a.m. to 3:37. She says, I'm off soon. I might just chill at the mall for a little later, but do you still want Charlie's? He says, yeah. She says, okay, bet, babe. He says, when do you get off work? She says, 4. She says, I'm getting the food right now. Question mark, question mark. She says, why are you leaving me in here alone so long? Dom says, I have to clean. She says, oh, okay. Hurry back, though. She says, text me when you're up, babe. So now it's the 21st. She says, text me when you're up at 6:30 a.m. He says, I'm up, but I don't know if I want to go. She says, you got to go to school, babe. Or if you're online, you can just stay home, I guess, but I want you to try to get a lot done. She says, I'm going to come over a little after 7 if that's cool, babe. She says, question mark, question mark. Answer, I'm looking for a ride over right now. He says, no, come at 10 or something. She says, what? I'm ready. I won't have a ride at 10. I just get a ride from school. She says, OMG. She says, the whole point of coming now is because this is the only time I can get a ride. You know this. Why are you doing this? Dom says at 7:12 a.m. Just get a ride now. Just stay in the living room. I wasn't trying to sleep. I was just trying to sleep. Kenzie says, it's okay. You can sleep. I'll just kick it in your living room. When you're up, you can come get me though. When you're up, wait, that was at 7:13. She says, when you're up, there's a fucking issue. I need your help. Likes her own message. He said, what's up at 8:47 a.m.? She says, can I come in? He says, yeah. So she used to go to his house so he could drive her to school, but she would just go in and wait. Like, it wasn't Dom's responsibility to get your ass to school, Kenzie. It was actually your mom's, Natalie Shirilla, to make sure you were at school. Because when CPS comes knocking at the door, because you are under 18, they're coming to your mom's house, dude. I'm just saying. Sounds like she might still have had a little bit of a curfew. Yeah, no, she did. She had a curfew and she always wanted to be there earlier. She lives 2 minutes away and doesn't just show up. That's self-control, not gonna lie. No, but she does. She like crawls in through the window and shit. She's a crazy. I already said. I've called cops to remove a chick and they didn't do anything. They told me to let her stay. That's really sad. Abe. He says, yeah. She says, babe, I need your help posting a pic. Okay, wait, it's 10:09 a.m. and there's already too much for me already going on. Like, I'm already over here stressing because it's the morning time. And like, why are you doing this in the morning time? Dude, somebody had to let her. She wants to just wait for him at his house when he's not even home. That's how controlling she is, that she just needs to like wait and wait for him and be there. She doesn't want him to be without her. She says, babe, I need your help posting a pic. Where you at 10:18 a.m.? He says, when are you leaving? She says, soon. She says, Lexi is on the way. Is everything okay? She says, are you here? Can you give me a hug before I go? He said, no. She says, I left at 11:06 a.m. She says, I'll see you after. Dom says, I'm so mad. Kenzie says, I'm sorry, I'll text you after. Oh, now you want to text him after. Now when he's mad. That's no housewife. No. Haha, he said no. No, he didn't. Just note, when we get to the next year, 2021, he ends up like being the one waiting. Like, it flips, you guys. It flips and it's really effed up. Like, it's really effed up. I'm just telling you now. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but we know how this ends. And so, like, him being like, I don't want you here. Like, we see that in the future, but it was different, I think, in this year in 2020. He says, I'm so mad. She says, I'm sorry, I'll text you after. She says, we paying right now. Want me to bring cheesecake back? She says, where you at? Did you do it? Question mark. Do it now. Do it now. Now. Do it. Still blocked. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Unblock. So he blocked her. So they were fighting and something happened over the phone. Because you guys have to remember, while they're in the middle of these text messages, they're also fighting via FaceTime. They're also fighting via Instagram. So it's not just like the text messages. We've been going through everything. Even the Instagram messages, we're not even done yet. We'll probably finish those tomorrow. She says, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, unblock. Babe, this is on January 21st at 11:26 p.m. She says, if you want to for real, you have to unblock me. Question mark, question mark. Text me when you're up, babe. She said, it looks like I'm still blocked. He says, no, you're not. You can come over if you want, babe, at 6:49 a.m. on the 22nd. So he blocked her on the 21st and then unblocks her on the 22nd. He says, no, you're not. You can come over if you want, babe, at 6:49 a.m. She says, I'm gonna come over when my dad leaves. I feel like shit. She sends a screenshot. Dom says, tell him to drop it off. Of course, tell him to drop it off today or give you money for it. Kenzie says, I did just now. He just left me on open. He's such a bitch. We'll see if he's going to bring it today. Kenzie, are you calling your dad a bitch? Because you will never hear me talking about my father that way. Absolutely not. It's disgusting. I can't stand her. She's annoying AF. She's gross. No respect. Well, can you blame her? What is Steve Shirilla like? We've seen bits and pieces of him in the phone calls, but clearly Kenzie thinks he's such a B. Dom says, tell him I'm going to smack him just for being a B. Dom says, Kenzie says, LOL, okay, I hope he bring it. My family's still paying for that phone too, you feel? Dom says, how I thought it wasn't activated. Kenzie says, like, we still have to pay it off. Dom says, oh, okay. Kenzie says, LOL, he's so dumb. Quote unquote, you're legit a brat. Kenzie says, bitch, I know. Dom says, tell him he can get the whole fist now. Kenzie says, after he said that, I keep talking. Then he said, keep threatening me. It's all right here. And he screenshotted it. It's funny how scared people get with you. Bruh, I almost ate shit walking up that hill. I slipped so bad. Dom says, oh shit, I should have told you it's ICAF. I was cooling though. Kenzie says, LMAO, I think I see your footprints, but it was so slippery. She says, will you get me a Pop-Tart and bring that up to me? Dom says, maybe. It depends if I'm skipping anything. Kenzie says, LOL, don't skip. If you have time, bring me a snap. I'm so hungry. Haha. Dom says, okay, LOL. She says, I already ate 2 Pop-Tarts too from your house. Dom says, LOL, I'll get you something different. She says, pretzel? ? Dom says, I'll see because I might not even have time. Kenzie says, okay, if not, I'll ask Phil. Haha. Dom says, okay, LOL. Kenzie said, Phil got me. She says, I might just leave. I'm probably dipping right now. I'm actually feeling sick and shit. Dom says, oh, I'm sorry. Go relax. Kenzie says, I'm trying. My mom needs to call in. He says, okay. She says, I left. She says, we should make tea today. He says, okay. She said, ask Cole if he's dropping my phone off, please. I'm on the way to work right now, babe. He's like, who is getting the phone, Kenzie or mommy? I did not mean to send those emojis, LOL. He's dropping it off right now, though. She sends a screenshot. She says, you'll never guess what just happened to me at 7:17 p.m. on January 22nd. He says, what happened? She says, my old friend Leah's boyfriend came up with his friend and straight up threatened me. Shit was scary AF. He was like, oh, I should have took your J's. I would have just robbed your ass. Then he was like, oh, you still got Leah's clothes? Then said, remember when I was about to work with your friend? Kenzie says, I'm scared AF. And that was the last message on the 22nd at 7:28 p.m. Then Dom says, I'm up at 5:58 a.m. Kenzie says, okay, I'm up too. I'm asleep for 4 more minutes. She said, okay, babe, I'm coming over. I want to see you. That was at 6:50 a.m. Natalie and Steve, Lakeside, you're not wrong. Natalie and Steve owe back child support to the Russo family. I agree with that 1000%. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. Also, she would turn him from slinging dope. I think that's why he stayed. Yeah, he was she was blackmailing him. Mel, you're so right. I know. He's been henpecked and pitched down for many years. It makes me really sad. I had that Kenzie was just treated. Yeah. Yeah, Kenzie was a golden child. I don't know why. Because I wouldn't be thinking the same thing. Because they didn't have to deal with her. She was over at Dom's house all the time. Yeah. So she says, okay, babe, I'm coming over. I want to see you. I'm so mad right now. She says, my mom makes me so mad. She'd be doing shit for no reason, like WTF. She says, I'm about to be there. Or just take 1 hour to come back. Dom says, what? Kenzie says, just stress me out hella, then leave the room. Dom said, how? Kenzie said, still chilling in the kitchen. So she's over at his house, but they're not like hanging out. She says, still chilling in the kitchen. She said, thanks for leaving. She says, whatever. Then it jumps to the next day on 1/24. She says at 6:29 a.m. She says, babe, I'm coming. I'm trying to catch a ride. And then he sends a picture of some link, probably politics. She says, when I done, you send me the new one. Dom says, can you help me by signing this petition? It's one of those petition things. Kenzie says, bet. Should I also use a fake name? Dom said, I don't know. She says, want me to post it right now? Wait, what time was that at? 3:40. Then she says, on the way to work right now. He says, if you want. She says, I'm gonna get that famous kid to post it. She says, where you at, babe? He says, at home. She said, today's a slow day. I'm bored and Carl called off because he's sick. Dom says, damn, maybe I'll try to come up. Kenzie says, if you can, smiley, it will be nice to see you. Dom said, I probably can't. She said, it sucks, for real. I hope I leave early. She says, Audrey's here. Dom says, don't start anything, babe. Audrey's one of the girls that liked Dom. And I think that he, quote unquote, he cheated on her with, but it's a whole story. It's a whole story. She says, Audrey's here. Dom says, don't start anything, babe. He says, get me food, LOL. She says, I might have to. 𝗲𝓾𝓶𝓶𝓪𝓻𝔂 and Maddie here too. Ooh, Maddie's another one. Kenzie says, and what food, babe? Dom said, that super good Chinese place right next to Charlie's. I meant Taco Bell, the one with the chicken. Kenzie says, OMG, LOL. Okay, what do you want from there? I'll see if I leave a little early. Dom said, I might get food somewhere else. When do you leave work? I can probably pick you up. Kenzie said, 9:30. She says, scoop me. He said, just have your mom scoop, probably. Kenzie said, get me food. What are you getting? I'll let you know when I'm off. Dom says, I don't know. He says, okay. She says, I probably won't be able to get Chinese anyway. Dom says, I didn't want that, LOL. Kenzie says, LOL, good. She said, it's nasty. She says, I'm off at 9 p.m. Where you at? He said, home. She said, okay, I'm off. Can I come over? He said, yeah. She says, bet. Okay. He says, did you get picked up? I'm about to leave to go to Elite High. Kenzie said, no. Dom says, you want me to come? Kenzie says, yes, please. Dom says, okay, on the way in a sec. Kenzie says, yay. She says, okay, come to the main entrance when you're here. And that was at 9:12 p.m. And then she says the next day, can I come in there? Dom says, just stay in there. Kenzie says, can you come back soon then? Dom says, yeah. She says, when are you coming back? Question mark, question mark, question mark. He says, soon. Stop being insensitive. Angelo's moving out. So there's drama going on at 1 a.m. Kenzie says, where did you go, babe? Why the F you leave me in here with the lights off? I just don't get it. Dom said, oh, I must have done that on habit. I'm taking a shit. Kenzie says, I've also been waiting really long for you. When are you going to be done? Dom says, soon. She says, sad face. Let me know when I can come back. It's awkward out here. Dom, she emphasizes it. Text me back. It's 1:30 p.m. He says, okay, I will. She says, will it be soon? Your mom seems stressed. Dom says, probably not. And yeah, I don't know. Kenzie said, so what you're saying is you're about to leave me out here for hella long. Dom said, mm-hmm. Kenzie said, what the F? Dom said, you can come clean if you want. Kenzie said, will you be nice to me? I'm not going to just keep cleaning your shit just for you to be mean, you know? If you're going to be nice, I'll come clean. I don't care. Dom says, well, when you'd be cleaning, I was going to go get food, but yeah, I'll be nice. Kenzie said, your mom is making breakfast, I think. Where you at? Question mark, question mark. She says, what's going on? Text when that was on the 25th at 2:30 p.m. Then it jumps to the 26th. Text when you're up. He says, I'm up. What's up? She says, want to hang at 9:03 a.m. I just woke up and I want to come hang. Dom says, yeah, I'll swoop. I'm going to go buy a mouse and cereal. Kenzie said, wait a minute. I need to get dressed and I'm going to do my makeup at your house. Dom says, okay. Kenzie says, okay, I'm dressed. When are you coming? He says, either before or after I go to Drug Mart. You want me to come now? She says, LOL, yeah. He says, okay. She says, are you on the way? He says, getting in the car. Why? She said, because I'm rushing. LOL. I'm trying to get my makeup done real quick. LOL. He said, just do it at my house. She said, I'll do the rest there. He said, I'm on the way. She said, I'm ready, babe. He said, here. And that was on the 26th. And now it jumps to the 27th. She says, babe, you up? At 6:50 a.m. She says, I'm going to start looking for a ride at like 7. She says, you didn't have to slam the door in my face. I didn't do shit to you. Dom says, you just came over and started banging on my window. She was already banging on the window in 2020. I forgot that part. I know we see her like breaking in. But back in 2020, oh, thank you, Hannah. I appreciate that. You're right, Hannah. Dom seems codependent, always trying to please. Trauma from his dad and stepdad. Yeah, I agree. Her family was like, she's that dumb. We have a break from her tormenting us. Yeah, absolutely. She says, Dom says, you just came over and started banging on my window. I did not have to get up. She says, question mark, question mark, question mark. When you coming back, or should I just come out there? So it goes from 6:01 p.m. to, it's the same time. When you coming back, or should I just come out there? She questions it, does arrows, question marks. Why you keep leaving me? He says, come in the kitchen, silly. So they're literally in his house. She's in one room, giving him a hard time about being in the other room. I don't know why they're not hanging out together, like in the same room. It's fucking weird. It really is. He says, come in the kitchen, silly. She says, where are you? He says, I'm in the car texting. She said, still? WTF? Who are you texting? Dom says, I need to go meet someone else. Kenzie said, where and who? I'm coming then. Dom says, okay. She says, where'd you go? She says, come back in here and come sit by me. She says, so that was on at 9:35. Then she says, I'm sorry, I've been lazy. I've been sick for like a month with a stomach shit. And it's hard. I try to be up sometimes. It's just so hard. LOL, look at Insta. Dom says, okay. She says, I told you I have that sock somehow. Dom said, what the F? She says, like, how? I'm trying so hard to get a ride right now. Guess what I figured out? She says, I can leave and come whenever. Dom said, how? She said, Miss Walls just told me because I'm a home kid. I might come back now. She says, what are you doing right now? She emphasizes her message. She said, this is making me mad as fuck. Now I can't go to Now I can't effing go to prom with you or Cabins. And you're with Bella both times. Like, I don't really care about that. I'm with you all the time. Just let me go. Dom said, I'll see if you can go to Cabins. I don't know if it'll be able to take you to prom though. Kenzie says, you're not going with another girl. So she's a freshman and she's talking about going to prom with him because he's a senior. Hate Kenzie and Natalie. Thanks, Alicia, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Yeah, I know. We hate Kenzie and Natalie. She says, you're not going with another girl. He says, to get in, I'm a senior. I have to go to prom. We will be able to go when you're a senior. She says, it ends up bad every time, even if it's not like that. Ooh, so he wanted to go with someone else, or maybe he didn't, but maybe we wanted him to. I don't know. She says, Dom, that's like in 2 more years. She knew Dom would move on. That's why she didn't want him to go with someone else to prom. That's why she ends up killing him, right? If she couldn't have Dom, then no one else could. Do you hear me? No one. I didn't say it. I'm just saying what Kenzie thought. She says, Dom, that's like in 2 more years. Like, and you're just going to let everyone bring their girl to effing cabin except me? You can easily find a way for me and you both to get in. It's funny how you act around Kyle. Stop acting like a fucking dick. I do so much for you. How do you think I feel right now? I'm trying so hard not to cry. Dom says, I don't know. I just cannot not go to prom. I'll let you go to cabins though. Kenzie said, no. And you're going to take nice pics there and be happy there when at homecoming you were such a dick. That was my first normal homecoming. Like, Dom says, come on, I'm just going to get you at cabins. She emphasizes her message. He says, I didn't want to go to homecoming. Homecoming's gay. Prom is effing prom, my G. Kenzie said, but now you want to look all nice and take pics when I'm not there. Like, why can't you do this? Dom said, what do you mean? Who's going to take pics? Kenzie says, you're getting mad? Like, why can't you let me be upset? And like, it effing sucks for me to see you go to prom when all your friends are going with the girls and I'm just going to be sitting at home. Dom says, I'm going to let you go to cabins. I'm literally a sophomore. I got to go to prom with my class though. And I got to graduate. I can't let anything get in my way. Kenzie says, you can take me to prom and still graduate. Dom says, I'm not dealing with this. Done. She says, whatever, Dom. Don't be like that. She says, why are you looking at your pants? Why is she only talking to you? What the F? So you going to talk to her weird ass? What the F is your issue? Are you trying to make me mad? She emphasizes her message. Now she looking at you only? Answer the F. Dom says, I'm not trying to. What do you mean? She says, I'm mad as F at you right now. Ask Angelo to get us. I want to leave. She disliked her own message. She says, and yeah, talk shit to Kyle. And you are. He says, I did. She removes, ask Angelo to get us. She says, then hurry. Then tell him to hurry. I don't want to be here when she keeps looking you up and down. Like, really? A comment about your pants and your shit? Oh, so someone had commented on Dom's pants. I like, really? A comment about your pants and your shit? How weird. Of course she's so interested. And Kyle's a dick for leaving her alone with us. Dom says, bruh, maybe it's awkward AF right now. Kenzie emphasizes it. She says, why did you make plans with him when I'm here and we're arguing? I don't care if you chill with him, but I don't want to leave because we need to talk about this, not on text. It's fucked up. Dom says, because we know how Trevor could be suicidal. Kenzie says, no, I don't care about that. I'm letting you chill with him. I want you to help him. I just don't want to leave and we still need to talk. I'm not just going to keep this in. Dom said, I'm mad at you, for real. She says, of course you get mad. Now I have to sit here and try to get you not mad when you just upset me just as much. How can you just start texting about cabins and prom night in front of me and say I can't go and expect me not to be mad and sad? Dom said, I said you can go to cabins. Kenzie says, Kyle just effing said I can't go to cabins with y'all unless I go to prom. Like, and I want to wear a cute dress and look bomb with you. And she keeps talking to you, bruh. She removes an exclamation. She says, answer. Dom said, talking to everyone. Kenzie said, to you. And answer about the other shit. She emphasizes her own message. She makes arrows. Dom says, I'll get him to let you go. Kenzie said, like, why do you always make me feel like I'm not on the same level as you guys? I'm just always the one that's left out. Dom says, I honestly don't get what you mean. You're 15. I don't want to be a bad influence on you. Okay. This is the one time I will say something. She's 15, so why did you want to date her? Dom, why did you want to date a 15-year-old? I hate to be the one, but I'll be fair and play devil's advocate. He knows. He knows how she is and that she's immature. He says, I don't want to have to take care of you too. She says, I'm with you every day, Dom. Stop acting like you're a parent. He says, but I'll let you go. If I don't help you eat, you don't eat. Or you're complete junk. I have to parent you. This is true. I forgot he said this to her. Thank you. At least you're being fair. Yeah, no. Oh. I see. Interesting conversation. He liked her because she was super skinny. He liked him like that. Dom was acting as her parent. Interesting. He says, I have to parent you. Kenzie says, and if you were a bad influence, I would not have been chilling with you. Dom says, because I care about you. Kenzie says, N-word. No, you don't. I only eat healthy because you make me feel like shit when I don't. I care about you too, but like, I don't want you to feel like a parent. Hold my hand. She emphasizes it. He says, bruh. She says, question mark, question mark. She says, yo, what's going on? He said, what do you mean? She says, I just want to know if you're okay because a lot is going on. Can you guys come back? He says, yeah, one sec. She says, okay. Question mark, question mark. Can we do something? You're being mean. Stop being a dick. I'm just trying to help you, but you always think I'm trying to fight. Like, I just want to go to effing prom with you, Dom. It's your prom and you're making me feel like shit. And you tell me to let you heal alone, but when I effing do, you call me inconsiderate. Dom says, the F you mean? Never mind. I'm done with this. Kenzie says, Dom, what do you mean? Question mark, question mark. Why do you just got to flip on me? I thought we would do our work together. Like, I don't see why I can't come out and do my work with you. Dom says, remember, Kenzie, I have no tolerance now. We're on the 29th at 8:44 a.m. He says, you used it all up. She says, me? Wow. Dom says, and for real, it shouldn't be too much to ask to just work on my computer alone. Kenzie says, you didn't say alone. You said, I'm going to do my work. So I thought I would come do mine too. Dom says, I'm not arguing about this right now. I'm not going to get anything done. Kenzie says, you don't have to. Just make me feel like I'm nothing. Every effing time you get mad, Dom, just be like, oh, Kenzie, I want to work alone. Dom says, I haven't got anything done since Monday. She says, I'm not arguing. Dom says, and you were asking me every 10 minutes to go to my room. Kenzie said, just do your work. Dom said, screw you. She says, stop getting mad over little shit. For real. It's no big deal. Dom says, I've been getting so fed up with you every day. Kenzie says, when? I've been doing nothing. Whatever. Go do your effing work. Stop being mean to me. Dom says, maybe if we didn't have to hang out every day, I wouldn't get so mad at you. Maybe if I just got a little space, we wouldn't have to deal with these problems. Kenzie said, then ask for space. All you have to do is ask. Like, it's not my effing fault. You can just ask me, like, don't put everything on me. Dom says, but now I know why me and Kyle don't hang out anymore. And me and Chris don't hang out anymore. And me and Sheen don't hang out anymore. It's all because of the women. Kenzie says, fucking do your work. I'm so mad right now. Dom says, okay, I want some space for the next 3 days. Kenzie said, NIGGA, what? 3 days? He said it should be 3 months. I'm screaming. I forgot this part, that he already knew how bad everything was, like, and how he wanted the space. He says it should have been 3 months. That was on the 29th at 8:47 a.m. She says, what type of food are you feeling at 11:41? She sends a menu. He says, steak and shake is low quality food. She says, oh, I didn't know that. Pizza? ? He says, yeah, like that Burger King quality shit. Kenzie said, Subway? ? LOL. He says, where would you get pizza? She says, I can ask my mom if she can order Giorgio's. Dom said, no, Subway, that shit always come boof for me. Kenzie says, Panera? Dom says, I never really had that. And that pick and that soup you got looked gross. Kenzie says, sideways face. Sends a menu. He says, want to get Olive Garden or something? Ooh, I love Olive Garden. She says, yes. He says, do they have it? Kenzie said, let me check. He said, okay. She said, no, Olive Garden on DoorDash or Uber Eats. 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆 work though. She says, Dom? He says, what do you want from Buka? She says, let me look. He says, Buka is super expensive. He says, can you come out here and help my Brainly test? Kenzie says, plain pasta with butter on the side and steamed broccoli. I might only be able to get a kid size. I'm trying to find out how to get normal size. I swear to God, he didn't call me a jit. LMAO, like N-word what? Dom says, you don't even make no sense if you're really offended by that. Kenzie said, I'm not, LMAO. Dom says, I'm just disappointed at 2:22 p.m. Kenzie said, why you always think like that? Never mind. Dom says, okay. She says, ? He says, what? She says, I want you to sit by me or something. Sends a pic. More pics. She says, where are you? You said you would be right back. It's been so long. Dom says, been playing Wii. Come out here. He says, can you come over super early? Can you not come over super early today? Okay, so she was over there 8:59 p.m. And then he texts her on the 30th, the next day at 6:33 a.m. And he says, can you not come over super early today? I'll pick you up in my car if you don't have a ride. Kenzie says, yeah, of course, that's fine. I don't have a ride though. But are you sure you can get me? What time will you come get me? Dom said, yeah, I have my car. Kenzie says, okay, good. What time would you come? She questions it. He says, I'm going to eat, then do school, then I got you. She says, do school? That's going to take like 2 to 4 hours. She says, that's cool, I guess, but I have to go to school around 11. I'm also going to shower right now. And then that was at 7:48 a.m. And then at 8:21, she says, bruh, Phil got expelled. She says, can I come over now? She questions it. She says, babe, text me back. He says, yeah. And how did he get expelled? Kenzie says, bruh, I don't know if he's just capping. He has another meeting and they're trying to say he's a threat. I'll go look at what he texted me again. Then Dom says, he probably is capping. Kenzie sends screenshots. He says, I don't know. What should I eat? She says, bagel. She says, or pancakes. He said, no bagels. He said, and pancakes is not enough. She said, but if you make pancakes, I'll come help you. Like, what about French toast? It's 9:09 a.m. He says, nah, all that shit will take too much and isn't even healthy. Kenzie says, I don't know what type of leftovers you got. Can I come over now, though? He says, I'm eating an apple. Do you need a ride? She said, I think my dad is back here to get something right now. Can I come now? She says, did I do something? Sorry if I did. He says, no, not even worth trying to talk about. Just don't worry about it. Kenzie said, well, I don't want to be mad. Like, I want to fix whatever I did. Dom says, it's the same thing we've gone over a million times, but still will never happen. Kenzie said, space? You can ask for space, babe. Anytime I told you that too. Dom said, no, it doesn't work. Kenzie said, yes, it does. You can just ask me. And you said I can come over. I wouldn't have came if you needed space. Dom says, okay, sure, we'll try that. Don't come over after school or tomorrow morning. She says, can you come out here then and hang with me before I have to leave? Dom says, I'm taking a shit. Kenzie says, why tomorrow morning too? I work tomorrow. He says, no, but for real, like my head is overflowing, boiling pot of water. Because I shouldn't be begging you to be alone or even chill with my friends. Kenzie said, you don't even ask, Dom. Dom said, I spend more time with you than anything else. Kenzie said, I said a million times you can have your space. Dom said, like anything, I can't even work on my schoolwork for an hour without you poking me every 2 hours. You said, keyword, you don't actually do. Kenzie says, I don't want to be arguing. Dom says, not say. Kenzie says, and what do you mean I did schoolwork with you? Dom says, N-word, see, I'm already so effing mad. Kenzie said, so I'm just not going to go to school today or something. I'll just leave soon. Dom said, nah, hell nah. Don't come over today or tomorrow. Kenzie said, I'm just leaving soon, but you're going to make this hard if you're going to be mean about it. Wow. I forget how bad these are, and these are back in 2020. Yeah, Phil was in the chat close to the time of the murders. I see Phil. I'm reading your guys' comments. Hi, Ernie. Both parents had to take accountability somehow. He says, I'm not trying. I just never had to spend so much time with someone continuously. It fucking sucks. Like, I'm with you more than anything. He's already feeling smothered 2 years before she kills him. He says, like, more than I'm with all my friends and family combined. Kenzie says, I'm sorry. You can ask for space, Dom. I'll give it because I know you need your space. Dom said, no, you won't. We've been over this. Kenzie says, like, I don't want this to be a fight. I'm literally sitting here agreeing with you, saying I'll give you space. Dom said, sane. Again, we've done this 50 effing times. I shouldn't hate my life. I forgot about this, that he was saying he hated his life already in 2020. He says, I shouldn't beg to be alone. Everything you do always makes me mad. Like, why? And the worst part is that I always feel bad too. I shouldn't feel bad that I'm getting smothered. Kenzie says, I'm sorry. He says, see, now I feel bad. She says, you don't have to be so mean about everything. I'm just sitting here telling you I'm going to give you space, Dom. Dom says, but I shouldn't wake up raging angry every day. Telling. She says, I'm going to leave soon. I don't want to make you feel that way. Dom said, again, telling. Do. Leave ASAP. Kenzie said, oh my God, what do you want me to say? I'm trying so hard. Dom said, don't try at all. I never wanted to squeeze someone's head till it pops, then strangle myself. I need to write that down. Wow. He says, but now I do. I shouldn't be nonstop frustrated. Kenzie says, I'm leaving at 11. Can you at least come out and talk to me here before I go? He said, I'm still shitting. And nah, you seen me earlier. Just go. Kenzie said, please. I'm so stressed out. I can never say anything right. I'm giving you the space you need. I'm leaving and we don't even have to hang today. I also need dabs. Please come out. Dom says, do not say no one gives an F what you say. Can you think of a period when we didn't chill for more than 2 days? Probably only when we were broken up. To be honest, we probably haven't even had a day apart unless we were broken up. Kenzie says, we have, Dom. He says, no. He says, we haven't. She says, please come out. I need to leave. He says, I'm like positive. Just leave. She says, no, I need dabs and I want to talk for like 2 minutes. I can just leave. I can't just leave. It stresses me out. I don't even want to go to school anymore. Dom says, I don't got any dabs, my N-word. Just go find some. Kenzie said, Dom, please come out. He said, no. I swear, if you don't leave, I'm a flip shit. She said, I'm leaving. I just need dabs. He says, I don't have any. She said, Davion's here. Dom sends a screenshot. She says, okay, then leave, N-word. Kenzie says, I'm leaving right now. Please, can I take the dabs that are on the floor? Dom says, I really don't give an F. Kenzie says, okay, I'm leaving. Then she says, hey, an hour later. He says, hey. She says, sorry about pissing you off so bad. I'm going to chill with Maddie and Gracie, so hit me up later if you want. We can FaceTime before you go to bed. He says, okay, sorry. She says, don't say sorry. You need your space. Miss Jankar made me feel a little better. She says, what are you doing? She says, why you gotta ignore me? She says, come on. You can't just ignore me. She removes an exclamation. Really? I swear, text me back, Dom. This shit is so annoying. Why the F are you on D&D? He said, what up? She said, why have you been ignoring me? It doesn't make any sense. I've been calling and trying to text you for like 3 hours. He says, okay. She says, okay? Question mark. See, you wonder why I'm always so sus. We're still on the 30th. She says, because you don't fucking text me back at all when I'm not with you and you don't text me back like that. What the F am I supposed to think? Dom says, I don't know. She says, text me back when I text you. Because when you do this, it makes me just want to come over. I'm not just going to stop making Snapchats count till you text me back. He says, no. She said, no? Question mark. Why are you being a dick? Who are you with? He said, no one. She said, then why are you being so mean? I just want to talk to you. I don't want to have to make Snap accounts because you're ignoring me. So she's already making crazy Snap accounts here. She needs dabs. He can't even finish taking a shit. She will not give him any space at all. No. She says, I don't want to have to make Snap accounts because you're ignoring me. And now my head effing hurts. Thank you so much for stressing me out. All you have to do is text back and you can't even do that. Dom said, okay. She says, I'll text you in 30 minutes. I shouldn't have to beg you to text me back. You just ruined my fun because now I have to sit here and think about you. She says, text me back. He says, okay. She says, will you reply now? With something more than just okay or I don't know. Like, I want to talk to you. It really makes me upset when you do this to me. Dom says, I'm going to go to sleep. She says, right now? He says, yeah. She says, okay, text me when you wake up. She says, I've been waiting to talk to you for a while. Why are you going to sleep so early? She says, Maddie is beefing with her aunt hard right now in the car. So awkward. And that was at 5:35. And then at 6:19, she says, hey. He says, hey. She says, what are you doing now? He says, chilling with Jared. She said, how's that? He said, not bad, just chilling. She says, I'm trying to sneak into the rec room right now. Me and Maddie need to get snuck in. Ah, it's funny how close or how much you're hanging out with Maddie right now. And then you hate Maddie later. Dom says, LOL, you dumb. Kenzie said, it's bad AF. We got in. Some India man let us in. Dom says, LOL. She says, we're dyeing Maddie's hair blue. Wait, I mean blonde. You wish blue. What are you doing now? Do you want to hang out tomorrow? He says, I'm at B-ball. She said, okay, how is that? I'm bored, low key. She says, just watching them play basketball. Dom said, who? She said, Maddie and Grace. She says, want to chill tomorrow because I work at 4. She says, babe. Dom says, I don't know. She says, it would be nice and I miss you. What you been doing? I for real been thinking about you all day. I want to come tomorrow. Dom says, I had basketball. Kenzie says, yeah, I don't know. Do you want to chill tomorrow? How was B-ball? Can I come over in the morning tomorrow? Dom says, I don't know. It was Kenzie says, I'm chilling with Maddie, but I want to come over in the morning and cuddle. I found out why my head's been hurting. It's from my period because I'm about to get it. Text me back, babe. She questions it. Dom says, my back hurts so bad. Kenzie says, what do you mean? Still from working out? Dom says, yeah. Dom says, and I bawled and it made it bad. Kenzie said, that sucks. For real, it's probably so hard to get comfy. I could give you a massage, babe. LOL. She says, what are you doing though? Dom says, smoking with Trevor. She says, LOL, sounds like fun. Is he at yours? She says, want to FaceTime at 11:40? Dom says, I just went home. I'm in bed now. He just went home. I'm in bed now. Kenzie said, LOL, when Maddie leaves, can we FaceTime? I really want to come over early. Dom says, if I'm still up, I don't know what I did to my back, but I'm salty. Kenzie said, yeah, shit probably sucks, but let me come over early tomorrow. Dom says, it's like right under my tailbone, but then to the left a little. Well, not really my tailbone, like on it. Kenzie says, damn, I feel it. I hope it gets better like tomorrow morning or something. He says, I don't know. He says, I hope too. She says, yeah, it will probably feel better in the morning. She said, once you sleep and shit. Dom says, it probably won't. It's been hurting. It's worse. Kenzie said, what if you ice it a little? He says, I don't want to get out of bed. She says, have Angelo get you some. Or tomorrow morning, I can bring you some. Dom said, Angelo's not here. Kenzie said, is your mom or anyone? Dom said, I can't ask them. Kenzie said, text, babe. He said, what? She said, text them if you don't want to get up, LOL. Dom said, I mean, I can't ask them, period. I ate that old waffle and it was good. Kenzie said, that's funny as shit. I could see you doing that. Dom says, it was like a pretzel. Kenzie said, that sounds so good right now. I'm driving home. Want to FaceTime soon? She says, text back. I'm home, babe. Want to FaceTime? She says, night. If you wake up, let me know. I can come in the morning. Okay. We're ending there for January. I know. Was it though? Yeah, that is Miss B. She was mental torture to him. She was literally stalking him using different accounts. Yeah, these were in the evidence package, so I'm sure the judge did read over them. Every time she goes up to parole, this is nothing. It gets so much more worse. So much more worse. Yeah, we'll continue. I didn't realize it had already been like 3 hours. I get consumed in these text messages. As I'm reviewing these, I'm still like, what? That's crazy. Thank you, Cree. Good job. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past her. Anyways, let me know in the comments, in the chat, if you guys want me to continue going on with this series of the text messages. We have already gone over them. So let me know. Shall I go on? Shall we move on to February of 2020 and so on and so forth? Let me know. I'm interested in what you guys think. We've already kind of been through these, but it's a different vibe. Yeah, it is. After we've talked about it and seen so many other things, it's very different. Of course, yes. Okay. From the beginning to the end of how the relationship changes. Okay. Old days. Old days is down to do. No, keep going. Okay. I will. If you guys want me to, let me know in the comments. In the comments, tonight's like my test night. I'm like, does everybody want me to go over these? I want to go over them because I'm going to make a long form video on them. So I wanted to go through everything. Yes, please continue. Yes, let's keep on going. Okay. I have Jamie, or not Jamie. I'm getting them all confused. Damn it. I have added to the playlist too. Yeah, I'm going to start a new playlist. I have a playlist for Kenzie calls with no commentary. Then we have Kenzie lives. And I'm gonna make a new one for Kenzie text messages. That way, the people who are just following the text messages can just go boom, boom, boom in the playlist. Like, question mark, question mark. Keep going. I feel like I know everybody. I know it's different. Once we've gone through other stuff, I'm here for it. I am too. It's a lot more different now than the first time we read them. So I'm down. Absolutely. I am down. Hit the like button on the way out for your girl. I said I wasn't going to make these more than 2 hours, but sometimes I just can't help it because there's a lot. There's a lot to cover here. We are going to listen to these with a different perspective. Yeah, it is a different perspective. I feel like it is for me too. And I think the first time reading them, I kind of just like zoned out through reading them. But now I'm catching a lot more things that I'm like, wait, this is crazy. Absolutely insane. So anyways, shout out to you guys. Please tap that like button on the way out. Drop your comments down below. Let me know if you want me to keep going. I know you guys want me to in the chat, but I'm curious to see what the replay viewers say. We have Jody tomorrow. We have BK still today. We have Kenzie. We have a lot going on. So just make sure you turn on your notifications. I appreciate you guys for being here. Hit the like button on the way. Yeah, it's a different perspective this time around. I agree. I agree. Yes, thank you all for being here. Let me know your thoughts. We know so much more now. I vote yes. Okay. I'm down. I'm down. It'll just be it's not like I'm shunning them, but it'll be towards the end of the day after we review all the other current cases. So Vanjie says, thank you, beautiful Melly. I love when you speak as if you were Kenzie. You're an amazing actress. Thank you, Vanjie. I love you too, and I appreciate you. Sending love to Melly sending love to Mellyverse. Yes, thank you, Crease. We got to see where things start. I think we're all paying a lot more of closer attention to, especially after the Snapchats and stuff, right? Thank you. Yeah, I have a Brian Koberger live. Let me go in. I'm already late, so I need to go in and reschedule. If I don't reschedule for tonight, I'll reschedule for tomorrow. But I should be back tonight, whether it's an After Dark or True Crime or Epstein. I plan to be back. So please hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate you for being here. Let me know, replay viewers, all of you, let me know in the comments what you think about redoing this series of the text messages. I would greatly appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, Melly and Mons. And I appreciate you guys for being here. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye.